Hello. Hello. Hey everybody, happy Monday and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. Vidi Vici. Welcome to, well, we're in Italy at the minute. We have to get down to Rome in, do you know what I mean? In a little while. But, well, we continue on our epic adventure of the 7 wonders of the world, and tonight we're going to be checking out the Colosseum in Rome. Tonight's a night of history. I hope you brought a notebook, for there are many things to try and figure out along the way. My audio and everything's up in the hoop. Everything was grand until suddenly it wasn't. But anyway, we'll get over ourselves. So we're on the ground here at a place called Florence Airport, Lima, India, Romeo, Quebec. And from here, we're going to be flying down to a place called Rieti. Rieti? Lima, India, Quebec, November. Then we shall ramble over to Roma as we check out some of the sights the magnificent city has to offer. There's photogrammetry in Rome and it looks absolutely amazing. I think everyone has their favourite city in the world. Do you know what I mean? There's just their favourite place to go. And for me, and for Mrs. Two-Tone, Rome is ours. Absolutely adore that city. We've been there a couple of times and we just can't wait to get back. So our final landing this evening is going to be down in Ciampino, which is Lima, India, Romeo, Alpha. Now, there's history. Did I mention there's going to be... Mike is muted. Wait, what? When I said it was going to be history, there's lots and lots and lots of history. Colonel Fork says, I'm all paranoid now. God almighty, what are we going to do? It seems very loud or something, is it? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my audio. Maybe I just sound loud. I don't know. It's grand, right? I haven't recovered from Saturday. I woke up on Sunday with a sore headache. But that's not important. What is important tonight? Get to the chopper. We're flying choppers. Well, some of us are. I'm flying a chopper. I'm in the Airbus H135 freeware by the awesome dudes over at the Hype Performance Group. Thanks, lads. Yeah, thanks. The sound is fine, says everyone. Boo! Colonel Fork, boo! We should call it easy listening. Or difficult listening. Yes, that'd be better. Difficult listening. Yes, that'll do. So the weather over this neck of the woods at the moment, it's not fantastic. So I've changed it to kind of big and bold clouds. And let's see what happens. We're just outside the city of Florence. Also with photogrammetry. Come on, man. And did I mention we're less than 24 hours away from the Xbox release of the sim, and also sim update number 5. It's so exciting. What's a H135/B47G, says Andrea. It is the Airbus H135 chopper, or indeed the Bell, a G47 or a 47G. It's all kind of fancy stuff. So, it's going to be a night. I haven't flown the chopper here in ages. Hang on, we'll jump down to it. Look. Ding! Ooh. Dear God almighty, the whole place shook. And now it's all grand. Yes. Give it a minute or so to load. Look at this thing. I mean, this thing just has dangerous written all over it, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, Murph, really? Yeah. Can't wait for this one. Now, the good news here is, right, this is free. Free, doesn't cost anything, only your time. So it should be fun. Now, I need to check how the old performance is running. High performance, get it? No, but I need to check the performance because I'm actually running at 150% of the gadget, of the resolution. Because, well, you might have noticed some very subtle updates to the servers over the last number of, well, mainly hours, but especially over the last couple of days. So usually for me with the stream, I would run at 100% on my resolution. But I can actually crank it up to 200 now and still have the same performance, which is like, so I said, right, let's go with 150 and see what happens. So things should be looking a little bit sharper, a little bit kind of, just reach out and touch it kind of thing. So this is our chariot for this evening as we have another dude flying across over that way. We'll bring up our trusty foreflight. Ding! This is how the flight is going to look. Well, Kinda. So starting off at Florence, we're going to be heading down to the southeast, down this way. And look where we're going to pass, look. There's even a big lake. Lake, hang on. Trasimeno, or Trasimeno. Ciao. My Italian now is about as good as my Swahilian. Swahilian? What do they speak in Swahili? I don't know. Anyway, then we're going to come back down this neck of the woods over to the eternal city of Rome. And we're going to fly in via Rome Urbe, U-R-B-E. And there's so many things to see in Rome. So many things. So if you guys have a chopper, you know, get on the chopper, you can go flying in the chopper. Or if you'd like to go in something a little bit low and slow, the likes of the Stearman, any of the DI-40s, a Wacko, even a 152, they're all going to be grand. All going well, we'll get the cruise speed up to about 100 and something knots to see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Squawk Talk says Swahili is the language. See what I mean? See what I mean? I knew you guys would know. Anyway, speaking of which, into the chat and say hello to people. Ghost Rider 115 said he's first. First, he says. Then Catbat9 comes in along with Catbat Cat and he says lol. The conversation does be bananas, and then Gibbo jumps on, he says second. These are new ways of, like, you know what I mean? Most people would say hello, or good to see you, or good day. No, first, second. That's how you greet each other. Good to see you, Ghost Rider. Good to see you, Catbat, and good to see you, Gibbo Ireland. Phil Boardman rambles in. Happy Monday. Naughty Gnome is in the house. Hey, Johnny is here. When is there? Should be a helly fun flight. Oh! Get to the chopper now. We're going to go flying. We're going to go flying in choppers, Johnny. Johnny loves the choppers. The man just loves them. Draco RPG is here. Good to see you, my dude. Sydney O says hello, everyone from Cape Town. Hello from Tipperary, my dude. Wayland Jutani is here along with Mr. Z123. Good evening, my dudes. Grafton 11 rambles in along with Dennis G. Hello. Alison Johnson is in the chat. Hello, Alison. Didn't she only have a marvellous stream on Saturday? Did you see the state of the air show? Thunderflies, flying Stearmans. You know, some say they even dressed for the occasion in 1930s regalia. They all grew a moustache with handlebars that were curled up towards the sides. And as they flew, they said, jolly good, tally ho, take it with them now. So you know the way H does the whole feet on the brakes, power to 90. That wasn't bad, that kind of sound... Now it was a case of, hello, feet on the brakes there, chaps, and tally ho. That's what happened. Amazing. Fantastic work, my dudes. Who else is here? Runaway Snake is here. Good to see you, Steph. Hope all is well. Count Zeppelin rambles in. Soaring AJ is in the house, along with Phil Boardman. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. Good to see you, John. Happy Monday. John Morris is here as well, as is Captain Sickbag. Hope you're well, my dude. Hope you are well. Seamus McNeil is in the chat. Good to see you, Seamus. Hope you're keeping well, my dude. Viper Strike rambles in. He says, good evening, guys. I had a fun stream yesterday. I'm ready to explore the Colosseum in the Cap 10. Nice. Randy Hurst is in the house. Good to see you, my dude. Jefferson 2001. The man, the myth. Pause for effect. The legend. Jepson released Petra. I'm only petrified that he released Petra. Next week we're flying in Petra. And Jepson, the legend, created the whole place out of nothing. You know, I sent him... This is only a couple of weeks ago. I sent him like a quick DM on Discord. It's like, hey, Jepson, would you mind, or maybe, if you had time, could you maybe put something together? His response was, you know, a couple of weeks later, yeah, Murph, I'm finished. I've built Petra and a good chunk of the Great Wall. Huh? The man's a legend. Don't know how he does it. But many thanks. Twisted Rotor is here. Good to see you, my dude. Muse fan rambles in. Good to see you, Muse fan. Hope all is well. See you later is here, as is Miss Two Tone. God almighty. Right, we know the drill. Sit up straight. Stomach in, chest out. Head up, shoulders back. Nose up. And eyes straight. Now, look at the fancy flying by your man. Tarbridge Knight is here. Good to see you, my dude. Who else? Saturday night, we did a watch party. It was a party of us watching the Flight Sim Alliance cross-panel discussion all about the future of at-home flight simulators. It was actually very, very good. I was surprised to know that a watch party actually worked. It worked. And then we went rambling off into Dublin. And I may have consumed a beer or two. And I might have told some, stories of things that Murph usually gets up to when he's let loose in Dublin City. Especially when he's at Q Bar. 4 pints of Guinness, please. Now, Gordon is here. Good to see him, my dude. Gary JF rambles in. Kingsman9965. He says, good evening from Liverpool. Good evening from Tipperary, my dude. The weather's changed. It's no longer, summer. It's like rain and 18 degrees. My office was still very warm. I wanted to wear shorts today, but I went with the jeans instead. I regretted it immediately. But anyway, Jan Morecamp is here. Good to see you, Jan. David Heath rambles in. Mouse2222 is here. Kevin Riley says, greetings from a stormy Alabama. Dude, stormy Alabama. I'd love to... I was never in Alabama. I would love to go to Alabama. But yes, Squawk Torque says, Murph... Is it Unt Domus? Or Unt Domus? How's your Latin? We'll try and learn Latin tonight. Yes, we'll do that. We'll learn Latin tonight. Start off with, numbers. You go first. I'll follow. Roger Zorc 75 is here. Good to see him, my dude. Andrea Damiani. Hello from Rome. Ciao. Hello. We have a Roman in the house. So, what have the Romans done for us? The aqueduct. Oh, that goes without saying, doesn't it? Apart from the aqueduct, what have the Romans done for us? The roads? Wine? You know what I mean? But hello, my friend from Rome. I love Rome. God almighty, I love Rome. Now, who else? Bodip is here. Good to see you, my dude. Andreas Jensen is here. Howdy. It's good to see you, my dude. Hope all is well. Flying Moore rambles in. Egged Barley is here. Colonel Fork is in the chat. Good to see you, Colonel Fork. After he did say, your mic is muted, making the Murph all nervous and stuff. Scott Voigt rambles in. Happy Monday to you, my dude. Laszlo is in the house. He says, hello, guys. Hello, Murph. Larger Life is here again. Good to see you, my dude. Now, where are we at? Lightworks is here. He says hi to all from Cyprus. Good to see you. Who else? You're very good for joining me here on the thing. The tube of you. Welcome to the bright side, as they say. As we are on the tubage, says Alison, please smash the like button. Many thanks, Alison. Many thanks. Kevin Riley says, that's so different from a Boeing B-47. Maybe. Mikhail D. Booker is here. Good evening from Holland. Yes, good to see you. Hello, my dude. Musefan says, I completely forgot how to fly this thing. This would be hilarious. Go to the chopper. I can't fly it. You'll be fine. And explosions galore. Jojo1 is here. Good to see you. Now, where are we at? There's an IKEA just by the airport. Ooh, interesting. Only at IKEA. But we're in... Do you know what I mean? We don't need IKEA at the minute. Do you know? Did I matter? I did. I skipped through a whole load of chat. But we'll find it now together. We'll work together, lads, and find it. Jojo1 is here. Good to see you. Who else? Lads, it's very busy. Freeze after dodgy takeoff. Now that's the start, says Gordon. Uh-oh. Well, fingers crossed and toes crossed. The update tomorrow might fix a lot of things. Or at least that's what we're hoping for. And if it doesn't, grab your torch and pitchforks and we'll start giving out about things. Squawk Torque is, he's 253rd. Jojo1 says, greetings from Bavaria. Good to see you, my dude. Martel is in the house. Happy Monday. Aaron Colby is here. Hope you're keeping well, my dude. Greg Gore is here. Hello. Who else? Captain Takashi is here. Good to see you, dude. Papa Joe B is in the chat. Good to see you, my dude. LM Vids. A heli tonight. Come on. I can't fly. Epic Fool. Come on out with that. Surely you can. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, immediately return to the Batcave and you can fly too. Kieran Martin 6 Knots is here. He says, never remember YouTube on Monday. It's okay. Evening Murph and chat, he says. Good to see you, Kieran. Hope all is well. Don't the time go fast on Saturday, says Phil. It absolutely lashed it by, didn't it? Kevin Riley says, love Murph's tours of Dublin. I've done so many crazy things. When I say crazy things, you know, a lot of the time they're stupid, you know, because it's me. Do you know? I must say the time I was on the Viking Splash Tour, I'll save that for another night. Do you know? I thought, they thought I was an actual Viking. Grrr, you know, there wasn't much English coming out of my mouth. It was all just kind of grunting, grrr, grrr, and stuff. But yes, it made sense to me head. Nocto is here. He says, greetings from sunny Toronto. Well, hello, my dude. Hope all is well. Mr. Popper Smurf has rambled in. Good to see you. Gibber Ireland says, I lived in Dublin all my life and I still learned something new about the city thanks to Murph. What? What did I teach you? Really? Q-Bar, maybe? Do you remember Q-Bar? Great spot. Listen, did you see the video Gibbo did? God almighty, the man built Croke Park. Let it be said, you know, the lads from Thurles are going to be given out to you. If you build it, they will come. So Gibbo Ireland, that's my microphone, and me hand, Gibbo Ireland did a great video, released on Sunday, of how to make your own photogrammetry 3D objects in the sim. Epic, absolutely epic, and well, looking forward to see more. Colonel Falk then starts with some Latin, very good. What did the Romans ever do for us, says Mart? Yes, but pretty much everything, in fact. And by everything, I mean everything. But yes, where are we now? Cooler Ocean is here. Hello there, Merv. Xbox Series X release of Flight Sim tomorrow. Yes, can't wait. Kendra is here as well. Hello, Kendra. Happy Monday to you. Keen Lafford rambles in. Good to see you, my dude. Hope all is well. But yeah. Hey, Dazza T Arab is here as well. Asher, look at the band is back together. How are you, Dazza? Good to see you, my dude. How is Mrs. Dazza and the Dazza Juniors? Hope all is well. Lee says, good evening. I can't wait to play Microsoft Flight Sim tomorrow. Oh, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? I can't wait for it. The console's going to be nuts. Kingsman says they invented the wheel. What's kind of... Oh, do you see that for starters? Now, if the performance goes wrong, you just have to say, Murph, it's not working right, and then we'll fix it. Do you know what I mean? But while we're here, right, in Florence, well, the first airfield in Florence was created in the Campo di Marte area in 1910 when military authorities allowed a field to be used for experiments in air navigation. In the Second World War, I think it's pronounced Pretola, was used by both the Royal Italian Air Force and the Luftwaffe from 1944, or up until 1944, and then Allied forces obviously took over the place. In the later 1940s and early 50s, the airport used DC-3s for a number of regional flights, you know, when the world kind of went back to normal. It is considered by many academics to have been the birthplace of the Renaissance, which is fascinating, and has been called the Athens of the Middle Ages. Its turbulent political history includes periods of rule by the powerful Medici family and numerous religious and republican revolutions. The city is noted for its culture, the Renaissance art, and architecture and monuments, including Michelangelo's David. When you hear this, right? Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Sandro Botticelli are all from Florence. What? Florence Nightingale, lads, is from here. Also, Lisa del Giocondo, which is the model who was portrayed in Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, also from Florence. This place is important. This isn't just like Leitrim. You know what I mean? It's a little bit kind of up there. Do you know? So, with that said, just let me know how it, you know what I mean? Let me know how everything kind of works. Time of day now, Murph. Want a bit of sunshine on the situation. So this is the high performance group H135 based on the Airbus. So we need to do a couple of things. Close the doors, Murph. Yes. We'll close them. Michelle says your pronunciation is perfect. Well, thank you very much. Mark says, anyone remember Ezio? Hey, Paul Quince is here. I am here, so hello to Mr. and Mrs. Two-Tone and to all the awesome Fireflies. Good to see you, my dude. No one saw that bump of a landing. Which one? The one over there that your man just went ka-dong? Anyway, so to start this thing, Murph's in a chopper. What do we do here? Well, we go to the overhead panel And we'll start off with the master battery, which is over there. Then, moving along, we shall turn on the inverters, standby battery, avionics 1 and 2. Yes, yes. We'll put our auxiliary pump, primers, front and rear fuel pumps. We'll put on our position lights and anti-collision lights. Instrument lights can come on here as well. And we can put it on our internal lights as well. So here we have the thing is alive. The hills are alive. Now, to try and give us some sort of an idea in a helicopter, all right, we have our flight stick. This fella jumping around the place because he's happy out. Then we also have this happy little fella known as our collective. So this machine is this is the thing that makes you go up and down, essentially, right? And then it's all about kind of, pivot. It's all about pivot after that, all right? So that's important. So what we're going to do here, well, we need to start the engines of this machine. And to do so, okay, we're going to zoom in. And you have engine 1 and we have engine 2. So to start engine 1, you use your mouse roller ball and you roll this fella all the way forward. Come on. There we go. And we'll do the same with number 2. There we go. So we should hear the rotor starting up. And if we jump to this position here, and we'll wait for the rotors. There's movement. Things are starting to happen. Ooh, it's coming alive. This is free! What? Free? Does it have an autopilot? Yes, it does! And I should be taking full advantage of it. It sounds like Bob Ross starting a helicopter. Right, engines running. Now, you'll notice down here we have a lot of kind of yellow and red stuff. So it's saying, right, your primers are on, your pitot was off, your trim and all your stuff is off. So we need to tidy up. So we'll put our primers off. Thank you. Got our lights on. Moving down here. And we shall turn on the trim and also the backup. Autopilot we leave off at the moment. And now we do have heading indicator. So we need to do a bit of tidying up here. So if we look at here, we'll go to the east. And we'll move that. How do we do this now? There we go. So we'll move our heading indicator over to east. For the moment. Alright? Look how fancy your man is. Be sure to turn on the 4 buttons lit up on the center console to enable stability handling. The 4 buttons on the center console. Would that be these 4? So many places we want to go to, Scott says to Mr. Two-Tone. We'll need to do a lot of studying prior to going, though, to see if we can get some locals to help us out. Ah, okay. So, John, you need to turn on the autopilots as well. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, let's have a look. Pitot heat, we need to turn them on. That's the last thing to do. Pitot heats are on. That's it. We're pretty much good to go at this stage. Now, what we do have with this, we can actually activate the GTN 750 if you have the PMS50 GTN mod, right? So you just click back, and then you can go to open the GTN 50. Now, for the moment, I'm not going to use that. Aircraft configuration is the same. Control all your doors. Disappear the EPU, which is basically an E... or GPU? Ground Power Unit? Yeah, that's the one. Now, squawk. We'll squawk 7000 and we'll go altitude reporting because it is very much VFR conditions. Alrighty. So with that said, as a very pretty L19, that's gorgeous looking, well, we're going to start flying around out of here. How are we looking and sounding? My frames are very low, but sure, we'll see once we get taken off. Spent 3 days in Florence years ago and I loved it, but I prefer Rome. Ah. I adore Rome. Was I telling you? Anyway, that's not important. What is important, we'll hit our D and B keys to set our directional and barometric headings and pressures. We don't need this now for a little while, so we'll turn it back on when we want autopilot. So we can turn on the autopilot here, look. So we'll leave it be for the moment, and we're going to try and get airborne. Alrighty. So with that said, well, a quick check. Oh yeah, I need to connect this. Hang on. Okay, so we're connected to flight events. Therefore, that should appear me now on the little thing of the thing, which it does. Alright. So what we're going to do here, we're going to taxi, turn left, and then head on out. Up this way. Are we ready? Right, let's do a thing. So, my collective is set to my throttle, yeah? So it's all about very, very slowly. Start adding in a bit of collective, and you need to be very mindful of your rudders. So we'll just go this way a little bit. Hey! Yes, yes, yes. So dip the nose down a little bit, add in a little bit more collective. We've got some thunderflies in the ramp. Nice! These are absolutely looking mighty, lads. Looking mighty. Kinaffer says, I've never been to Rome. I'd love to go. It is just my absolute favourite city of the whole wide world. The last time we were there, we got some serious behind-the-scenes access to a lot of the sites. We were just very, very lucky. The old gift of the gab and the Irish charm, it kind of works a little bit, you know what I mean? Ah, come on out of that, sure. You might let us in. Sure, we're royalty back in Ireland. So let me know how if it gets choppy, just let me. Because as I said, I'm using a higher resolution tonight for the first time in a long time. And my VRAM is at 97%. Ooh. Let's see what happens, shall we? So we're going to ramble out this way. We need to lower down the old graphics. Because I'm getting stutters. Graphics. 150? 100, please. Go. There we go. Apply and save. Save and apply. Go back and resume. And we'll give it a couple of minutes to kind of sort itself out. So we're going to head down to kind of downtown Florence. Because as I said, there's photogrammetry down here. And it looks absolutely amazing. So you can see from the choppers, like, it takes a little bit of getting used to them. But once you do, and there's just 3 different modes of difficulty when you fly these. It kind of has like, game mode, basic, and then like, what the? So we're flying in like basic. So it does take a little bit of time to get used to it, but that's the fun part. And with any aircraft, anything that's difficult to fly, it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? So we're rambling in this way now. Increase in collective will require increase in right pedal. See? Torque and stuff. Look at this. I mean, look at the state of this. So the airport we just took off from, and which I'll circle back to now in a moment, is a third-party one. It's from Gaia Simulations, and it's available over on the Orbex Direct site. If you type in ! scenery, it'll appear. Any of you Assassin's Creed players, or I even think, was it Civilization 4? They used that cathedral on the main photo. I mean, look at the state of this. Isn't it stunning? Absolutely incredible looking. Sounds are quite good here as well. I mean, look at it. I mean, isn't this something? Photogrammetry, like, oh, do you know what I mean? I'm really looking forward now to tomorrow to see if we get some sort of a performance increase. We are. And, I put some information up on our Discord earlier on whereby, some helpful things to do. I absolutely recommend, remove everything from your community folder or use the add-on linker or just like call it old community folder. Even though the sim might install and update correctly and launch, it might still work. I don't think you're going to really experience the performance hit with anything in there, so you're best to try it in its absolute vanilla state. Look at the state of this place. Mechanical Madness is here. Good to see you. Streamlabs is on strike. So if you get a good increase, one of your extra streams needs to come back to Rome to look around and check it out. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But like, tomorrow my plan is, and now I have to be wary at times as well. Because I don't, you know what I mean? It's all for one and one for all. So like, I don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Hostile takeover, clogging the airways. But my plan is tomorrow to use the Xbox to stream. And give a bit of an introduction to what it is and what we can do, and do you know what I mean? And in particular, I can't wait to go flying with everyone who doesn't yet have access to this sim, because their PC mightn't be able to handle it, or maybe they don't have a PC at all, and maybe they've been waiting out to get it on the console. So tomorrow is my chance to get to fly with all you guys, and I can't wait for that. I cannot wait. Gibbo fixed the bot. Thanks, Gibbo. So this airport here, being Florence, look at the Thunderflies. Look at them. They're on the ramp ready to go. This airport is from Gaia Simulations, and I have to say, it's one of my favourite because the attention to detail and performance and just everything about it, it's really, really nice. And they even have trains. Bring back trains. They're there. They've trains. Look, there's a working train. Absolutely bananas. Look, do you see the train moving? It's directly over the top of the chopper. Look. Get to the chopper. Directly over it now. Hey, Gabriel Dillon is here. Good to see you. 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow, says Captain Takashi. Yes. Murph, I'm disappointed in you. But all the doors still doing on. Oh yeah, you can take the doors off this. I knew Seamus McNeil would appreciate the train. So we can see the Thunderflies below. I feel like Epic Fool here. He'd just be doing this in the chopper watching the lads. It's a fantastic vantage point. But isn't this a beautiful airfield? Like, it's amazing. And it's a great kind of a launching site for your Italian flying. Like, you're pretty much up north. You can tip on up to Milan. You can go up to the Italian lakes. You can kind of head south. You can go out to the coast. You can even, like, you're not terribly far away from Venice. Head out to the east and away you go. So we have a number of choppers flying with us, which is awesome. And we've got a couple of GA planes as well. This is fantastic stuff, lads. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the state of this, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is before we get a sim update. This is before they say, yeah, we've actually... The entire update, our entire focus on the next update has been for performance. What? It's like, the whole mission is performance. It's to make it work better. And like, I don't know how it looks on your screen, but like, I'm running here at a steady 50 frames. Everything's just fine. And we're using third-party aircraft that probably aren't as optimized as they could be. Do you know what I mean? Look at this. Thunderflies are moving already. Can't wait to get the 145 with its pop-out floats and the 125. Absolutely. So, the high performance group, the guys who brought us this fantastic freeware helicopter, are also working on a payware H145, and I think someone else is working on the 125. Jefferson landed at a nice looking plaza to pick up a cornetto. Give it to me, Gabri's cornetto. Do you remember they had Pavarotti doing that? The legend. The absolute legend. So I'm hoping my choice of aircraft tonight to explore Rome was a good choice. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to bank our way out to the right hand side. And well, what we want to do, we want to get onto our magenta line. So altitude is pretty alright for the moment. Dave says, do you fly airliners? I do every now and again, Dave. Not an awful lot during the stream. And the only reason for that is, well, there are far more capable pilots than I. But I just love the GA stuff, man, especially on Microsoft Flight Sim. I love the low and slow, checking out the scenery, getting to fly with all these people in GA. Like when you're doing it in the airliners, unless you're like you're practicing kind of formation flights or, stuff like that. Hey, who be this? Mr. Pasiak. Many thanks. Turn on synthetic view. Hang on. How do we do that again, Epic? There we go. Now, what I want to do is as follows, right? We're going a little bit too fast here, right? So, bring the out collective back, pitch up, and bleed off some of the speed. Now we're going to go down to our trusty little autopilot, and we're going to say to it, right, I want to go nav mode, hold me altitude, and autopilot should do the rest. Or at least I should hope. So we didn't set an altitude, so altitude. Let's go for 2,000 feet. Yes. And how do we get this to... How do we get this to go up the way? Change the co-pilot to DMAP. How'd you do that? Tell me what to do! So the autopilot is flying, right? But what I want to do, I want to, see the way that says minus 200? I want to increase that. So that's altitude, yes. Now, in saying that, Dave, with the airliners hogging the FPS, there is going to be a huge update. Yeah, that's the devil right there. So that's for altitude, 2,500. Change the co-pilot to DMAP. How'd you do that? Nav 1, Nav 2, GPS. That's how we do that. Look at the co-pilot screen. DMAP is the third button. DMAP, third button. DMAP, third button. Co-pilot screen. DMAP. Ah, good man, Epic. See, this man knows how to fly the choppers. Epic, how do you change your vertical speed? Methinks we need to go higher. When you hear Murph saying, how do you do that? A few hundred feet in the air, it can never end well. Scott says, I may try and set up a Mediterranean trip for 2024, UK and the continent for 23 if all goes well. Oh, that'd be amazing. Set GPS mode. Thanks, Lazo. We got that. Jojo says more power. Yeah, we'll add in a bit of power here now in a sec. There we go. But yeah, like when it comes to airliners, the Sim Update 5 is supposed to be a huge thing to do. You can set altitude, but it doesn't do VS. Gotcha. Thanks, Johnny. So there's a big mountain ahead of us. Martel says, you know, I would be a liar if I was to say to you we could get much higher. Where's the GPS mode button? Down here, look. See the way you have a nav button? It says nav. No VS that I can think of. Okay. Altitude higher than 2. 3.5 should be fine. Okay, 3.5. We'll dial that in. 3.5 is set. Add in some collective. Yes. Tried to fly the chopper, but ended up upside down on the ground, says Rogers. Oh dear. It just takes a bit of practice. Now, what we're going to do at this stage, if you're flying along with us, well, friends, do now press the number 2 into the chat, and we'll try and get a bit of a head count. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 1900 Zulu time, Monday nights on YouTube, Wednesdays and Fridays over on Twitch. We have a Discord, do you know? Yes, that's where we hang about when we're not online. And we also have a very fancy website. With many thanks to Gibbo Ireland. We also have a like button. You know, if you feel that way inclined. It does help the channel. The bean counters of the YouTube say, hang on, there's something happening here. The people are enjoying it. Perhaps they'll like to see more. Perhaps we can bring more people and recommend it to them. In which Murph will say, yeah, baby, yeah. We got 42 plus a Murph. One of them is in VR. Welcome to the Italian countryside. Look at the trees, Mrs. Two-Tone. Look at the state of the trees.
You see, you can talk like this guy when you're flying in Italy.
What was his name?
The Godfather.
Marlon Brando. You need Doritos and you have to put your chin or your jaw out really far. You know that guy? How's it flying? Like a glove. No, wait, hang on. Like a leaf. No, hang on. Oh, God, that's terrifying. It flies well. It flies well. Don Corleone. That's the one. Squawk says, outside air temperature 34 degrees. Grandpa Ethan says, hey Murph, what's for dinner? I had one of them shakes. This music, isn't it kind of...
One man on a mission.
Just talk like Tony Soprano. Get out of here. Oh, do you remember The Sopranos? Who here loved The Sopranos? You can be your man, Paulie. Yeah, student at Duke, man. Remember him? Brilliant. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me right back in. Whoa! Hey, I'm on your side. Hoo-ah! One man on a mission to feed the squirrels. What? Look at the state of this. I'm flying here. Now, Alison, are you being sarcastic? Or did you actually never see it? That sounded positively, do you know what I mean? Why isn't this working? Hang on. Now, let's see. What's this one do? Yes. Some Italian music. Just to make it feel... Do you know what I mean? Make it feel groovy. Some say he has 100 voices and 20 faces and has a license to entertain. Did you look through the info? Give us a second, will you? It's very busy. Right, so Friends, we are on our way down to Rieti Airport. Prior to 1997, it was a military airport operated by the Italian Air Force. The airport hosts a helicopter base. The airport also hosts some facilities used by students of the military school. The shooting range and the Nubich exercise area. Air currents in the Rieti plain are particularly favourable for gliders and offer the best conditions to fly, so the airport is well known among glider pilots from all over the world. In 1982, 1994 and 2015, it hosted the European Gliding Championships. Ooh! Look at the state of this though. Italian country, get me face out of the way, now it looks better. Look at it! Italian countryside for the win. I mean, look at it, lads. Do you know what I mean? Got some nice lakes. Got some olive trees. Abraham Lincoln is in the chat. 470. We're on the North Europe server, dude. Epic Fool is away. He says, I gotta go. Enjoy the flight all. Murph, remember the green dot when trying to hover. Many thanks, my dude. So we're doing around kind of 85 knots. I wonder, can we just kind of, you know what I mean? Increase the speed. There's a steerman. Italy is such a beautiful country. It really, really is. Now, in saying that, I wasn't a fan of Milan. I was in Milan. Nothing wrong with the Melonians. It was just, I wonder what she's thinking about. It's like she's singing. She needs a name. Something Italian. Gabriella. Oh, that's a good one. Gabriella. Or Antonia. Francesca. God almighty, the names, lads. Look at this, though. This is awesome looking. Get the choppers. Donatella, says Fizzbin. Oh, I like that one too. Donatella. Oh, behave, baby. Mary Sue. Gino De Campo. Lorella. Leonardo. God, the names are absolutely fantastic. Let's call her Peggy. Stefania. Ooh. Emilio. Valentina Manetta. She's thinking, would you ever stop looking at me head, says Alison. In your best Italian accent, stop looking at me head. Look at this. Look at this. Gina Low Abridge. Roberta, I like that. Lazlo says, so what's wrong with Milan? I really liked it. No, there's nothing wrong with Milan itself. When you look at the rest of it, when I looked at the rest of Italy, I just found Milan very busy. It's a huge, huge city. And to be honest, when it comes to massive built-up cities. Do you know, I think it was just so busy, and you know, it's great for fashion, you know, and I'm rubbish at fashion, you know, but for all of that kind of stuff, like when you see some of the other cities in Rome, like, well, mainly Rome, but also maybe the likes of Florence, I think Milan was just very, and I imagine, I don't know, did they get damaged in the war maybe? Oh no, Rome is huge, but the good thing about Rome is it's all over the shop. Do you know what I mean? It's up hills, down hills, go round, around, about, and it's all like kind of tight little kind of alleyways and odd. It's mad, like. Milan's modern and gritty. I kind of like that, though I've not been to many Italian cities. Sophia, that's a good one. Hey, Walton's is here, very stylish, Milan. All the lads in Armani giving you the eye. Yeah. Gee, I can't even do Italian. I need to learn a bit of Italian. My brother lived in Italy. Neon Jedi, he lived in Italy for a good while. He was over in the Torino neck of the woods. Murph is more of a historical buff. Yeah. That's a polite way of putting it. Yes. I love me history. No, don't get me wrong, and if it came out wrong, no, I'm not saying like Milan is a kip. Far from it. It's a huge city. But in terms of an authentic, what am I trying to say? I don't want to say in terms of an authentic Italian city. I would class Rome or Florence as authentic Italian because they have all the history. Like when I look at Italy, I think of, you know, scenes like this, the countryside, you know, vineyards and all the olive plants and all this kind of stuff. Plus, I look at kind of Roman history. You know, the really old, ancient marble buildings and columns and all this kind of stuff. And even then, you know, you look at the Renaissance stuff, some of the beautiful architecture and buildings. And I was only there once, so who's to say if I go back to Milan? It was like sweltering heat there as well. So that probably was part of it. It was very kind of stuffy and stuff. Because it's just a massive city. It was busy, like, it's flat out busy. So I don't know. Ignorance is a bliss. Well, in my case it is. Maybe Milan is lovely. I need to go back there. Tell you what, I'll go back to Milan and tell you how it goes. That's what we'll do. Or failing that, we'll go on the sim. And I'll probably change my opinion on it. Hey, Bad Dog is here. Good to see you. He's a great dog. Really great dog. But yeah, maybe there's an idea. We'll go back to Milan. I think Milan has photogrammetry, doesn't it? I think it does. I'm almost certain it does, in fact. Almost certain. Now, let me see. Oh, I can't wait till we get down to Rome. I cannot wait till we get to Rome. Love me some Rome, I do. Irish Lad says, any tips on the Xbox release for tomorrow for a new player? Just install it. My plan is I'm going to stream it anyway, so anyone who wants a couple of pointers of, you know, maybe not spawn on the runway, maybe fix some of the control sensitivities, how to select aircraft, how to change numbers, you know, how to navigate. Squawk Torque says, Milan's cathedral was considered the world's finest in its day. Oh, wow. So, speaking of Rome, right? We're going to Rome today, we'll go to Milan the next day. But Rome is the capital city and a special commune of Italy. As well as the capital of the Lazio region, the city has been a major human settlement for almost 3 millennia. Rome's history spans some 28 centuries, while Roman mythology dates from the founding of Rome at around 753 BC. The site has been inhabited for much longer, making it one of the oldest continuously occupied sites and cities in Europe. The city's early population originated from a mix of Latins, Etruscans, and Sabines. Eventually, the city successfully became the capital of the Roman Kingdom, then the Roman Republic, and then the Roman Empire, and is regarded by many as the first ever imperial city and metropolis. It was called the Eternal City by the Roman poet Tibullus in the 1st century BC. While there have been discoveries of archaeological evidence of human occupation of the Rome area, dating back to approximately 14,000 years ago, the dense layer of much younger debris obscures Paleolithic and Neolithic sites. Evidence of stone tools, pottery, and stone weapons attest to about 10,000 years of human presence. Several excavations support the view that Rome grew from pastoral settlements on the Palatine Hill built above the area of the future Roman Forum. The Romans had built a road network of 53,000 miles by the early 4th century. 53,000 miles of roads and not a single car. What? Each Roman mile was about 4,800 feet and marked by a milestone, giving birth to the saying, "All roads lead to Rome." The first ever shopping mall was built in Rome between 107 and 110 AD by Emperor Trajan. Rome was the first city in the world to record a population of 1 million people. There were over 200 amphitheatres in the Roman Empire. Rome dominated Europe for over 700 years, not to mention areas of North Africa, Asia as well. By the end of the Roman Empire, it amounted to just over 2 million square miles and stretched all the way from Syria to Scotland. Law in Rome allows cats to live without disruption in the place that they were born. Wild cats can be climbing the walls of the Colosseum and sleeping among the ruins of the Forum. The Cloaca Maxima is the first complex sewer system in the world, which was located in Rome. Rome is the only city in the world that has another country inside it, which is known as Vatican City, which is the smallest independent city-state in the world. It's bananas, I'm telling you. Where are we at? It was down here. Rome had the very first legal system known as the 12 Tables. These were first written down in the 5th century BC. The Appian Way was the first paved highway in Europe, constructed in 312 BC, which brought us from Rome to Capua, and then later down to the end of the boot, as it were, which is out towards, what's it called? That place. Rome has been a city of water for over 2,000 years. The Romans invented the first aqueduct, the Aqua Aquia, in 312 BC, which brought water into the city through the underground pipes. The Trevi Fountain is supplied by this ancient aqueduct today. The Aqua Virgine was constructed in 19 BC, which is over 2,000 years ago. The Romans also had underfloor heating. It wasn't quite central heating as we know it today, but it was based on the same idea. Rome has more churches than any other city in the world. Within the ancient city walls there are over 300, but the number in the extended city is over 900. The Romans gave us our calendar. In 46 BC, when Julius Caesar was in Alexandria, he marvelled at the calendar which was based on the solar year. After Caesar's trip, he instated the new Julian calendar, which would be 365 days with an extra day at the end of February every 4 years. It is known as the leap year. It wasn't until after Caesar's death that a month was named in his honour. Originally July was actually called Quintilius. So we have July. From the Julii. The first palace ever built was in Rome. The name for a huge grand residence today is Palace, which comes from the first grand house ever built on the Palatine Hill. The Pantheon in Rome, the most unique Roman building that survives to this day, is the only one of its kind in the world. It's famous for its enormous unsupported concrete dome with a huge hole in the middle. Fascinating stuff. And the gas thing is, right, the Romans had a distinct advantage over pretty much everyone else. They had a very unique concrete. The Romans had concrete 2,000 years ago. Mind-blowing. They had concrete 2,000 years ago. Concrete wasn't rediscovered until around the 18th century, in Victorian Britain. Nuts! Hey, look at these guys. Some Cap 9s. Very fancy. Oculus is the name of the roof hole. Hey, many thanks. Roman art and architecture still awe us to this day. When you look back at the history, the founding of the state, and there is a lot of legend to that. Romulus and Remus, the two twins, they were, descendants, I think, of Etruscans. They were discarded on the banks of the Tiber in a basket. Seemingly the soldiers who were to put them to their death didn't want to go into the Tiber, so they left them. The two boys, left for days, were eventually suckled by a she-wolf, as we have that famous kind of, picture of the two lads with a wolf. Now, here's an interesting development. The Latin word for she-wolf is also the same meaning for the word, lady of the night. So maybe they just kind of said, well, we didn't come from... No, we were nurtured by a she-wolf. Know what I mean? Hey, Joseph Gambino. Good to see you. And legend has it Both Romulus and Remus wanted to found their own city. The two brothers, well, they fell out with each other. They had a bit of a moan and a whinge, and it was said that Romulus had his city on the Palatine, Remus had his city on the Palatine or the Apennine. And it was said they needed a sign from the gods whose city will stand. And between all the kind of to and froing, there was something about, I think, vultures or birds, but Remus saw 10 birds fly to his city, but Romulus saw 12 fly to his. So Romulus said, it's mine. And then, Remus kind of said, no, don't like the sound of this. So he jumped over the half-built wall that Romulus was building, the city walls. And, Romulus said, anyone who tries to jump the walls, or anyone trying to break into Rome will perish. And he killed him. That was the end of Remus. So, you had Romulus of Rome. And, what do you do? I've built a city. I need loads of people to live here. What do you do? Well, you invite people in. You take the scourges of the world. Cast away your poor. What was that? It's on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your poor. Give me your, hungry, and I'll give them liberty and all this. It was the same idea. That all came from Rome. So anyone from anywhere, the degenerates, the outcasts, those who were not welcome, they were invited to the city of Rome. And in the early days, there was a lot of men, because they were devils and they were troublemakers. And the lads all sitting around the table in Rome with Romulus, what's the story here, Chief? There's no women. I know what to do, he said. So they said, right, we'll invite the nearest town in. And, we're going to steal all their women. Huh? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to steal all their women. Okay. So that's what they did. They invited them all in. Were they? I think they were the Etruscans. And anyway, they brought them all in, and that's exactly what they did. They were having a bit of a session, and this is great crack. Wait till you see what happens. And then, out of nowhere, they gave the sign, and they said, right, capture all the women. And they did. And everyone was terrified, and they ran home. Years later, they said, right, Sabines. Wayland, come on, Sabines. They were the Sabines. What did I say? Yeah, Sabines. I need to read up on this. The Sabine women. Anyway, years later, the husbands and fathers of the Sabines said, we're going to teach them Romans a lesson. We waited a few years, but now we're going to go back there and take back our women. So they tried, and they got to Rome, and there was a big battle and a big kind of a brawl. And to their shock and surprise, the Sabine women were treated so well by the Roman men, because it was said by Romulus that to the women when they were captured, he said, fear not, for your husbands, these Romans, they will spend the rest of their lives making it up to you because of this terrible act of stealing it. So that's what they did. So, of course, when the Sabines came back to, rescue them, they were like, no, we're happy here. We have husbands, we have children, we have families. And that's kind of pretty much it. Great success. City. And then over the years, and, it was a kingdom. And then you had we'll look it up. I'll be here till tomorrow talking about it. They didn't like the king anyway. They ousted the king, which was, the last king, the Mad King. You ever heard of the Mad King, Game of Thrones? Well, he stole that from Rome. The Mad King. And he was ousted by a dude called Brutus. Brutus got rid of the last king, and that kind of situated his family. You had the Brutii, you had the Julii, and you had some other. There was three major families in Rome. The aristocrats, the aristocracy, as it were. So, that was Brutus. And so they got rid of the king, and then Rome became a republic, whereby they voted for people. They had a parliament known as the Senate, and that's how they governed themselves. And the biggest worry was, they didn't want to have a king or one ruler, so they came up with the idea with the consulship. You would have two people, and every year you would vote someone else in. Therefore, not one man could have absolute power, and if he did, he'd only have it for a year, and then we can sort him out. So that was the idea of it. So they had it for hundreds of years, and Rome was expanding. It was getting bigger. They were pushing more into Italy. They were, they had the first biggest war, I suppose, the Romans had. They were called the Punic Wars, in which they fought against the Carthaginians. Carthage, and they were kind of based out of North Africa around Tunisia. That was their kind of neck of the woods. And the Carthaginians, Carthage, they came, hundreds of years before that, they came from a crowd called the Venetians. You might have heard of a Venetian blind. It's spelled the same way. But the Venetians pretty much came out of Lebanon. And they controlled the Mediterranean. They had vast experience with shipbuilding and, navigation and all of this. And Tunis, or Carthage, was once a Venetian settlement. And then, the Carthaginians took over. So Carthage was very, they were the big dudes of the day, because they had the navy, they controlled the Mediterranean, they did all that kind of stuff. So the Romans said, we'll sort these lads out. So they went to war with them, and you had the First Punic War, which lasted, I think, 20 years. It could have been 40 years. Don't quote me on that. This is like, rough history. Very, very rough. Anyway, they had a second Punic War then. And something that's interesting with the Punic Wars is, right, there was a big battle in the sea. The Romans and the Carthaginians. And, Carthage, they were big into their ships. Their ships were superior in every way. They were seamen. They knew how to sail. The Romans, they were foot soldiers. So the Romans said, right, what's going to happen here? During some battle, whatever happened, a Carthaginian ship, instead of turning left, they turned right. And they went all the way up into a Roman settlement. And they said, you don't belong here. So they seized him. Seize him! They seized this Carthaginian ship and they took it apart. Now, think about it. This is like 2,500 years ago. The Romans disassembled the ship and they realised that each part of this ship had a number. Everything was labelled. This was mass production 2,500 years ago. What? This is like IKEA. These were flat-packed ships that could be built because you just had to follow instructions. Spread out all over the Empire of Carthage. We'll make this Trium or, Gallus or whatever it's going to be. We'll build it. So the Romans had a look at this and they said, we're going to do that. We'll just build it exactly the same. And they did. Within a year or two, they built a number of ships and off they went. And what the Romans came up with the idea was, they said, well, we're not naval people. We're not seagoing people. We're good at swords and do you know what I mean? Fighting. So the Romans' tactic was, or strategy, they would sail toward a Carthaginian ship. They would have almost like a drawbridge on the front of the ship that would drop down and had like this massive hook at the front of this drawbridge. And the idea would be they would crash into the boat, the front of the ship will drop, lock into the Carthaginian ship, and then the foot soldiers on board would just run through the enemy and get rid of them. And it worked. And they beat them. And then the Romans were massive. Waltons. But yeah, so they beat the Carthaginians, and then Rome was, that was pretty much it. Rome was massive. And then, the next major battles, we can skip on a couple of 100 years, the time of Julius Caesar. Gaius Julius Caesar, or he was known as Gaius of the Julii, and then later known as Caesar. And an interesting thing, the name Caesar, well, it's not just a Caesar salad, but it was used up to fairly recently because you had what was called the Russian Tsar, Tsar. And Tsar, Tsar, well, that was the Russian for Caesar. Same thing. Do you know what I mean? And we have Caesar salad, I suppose. That's where you've heard it. Gibbo says, Murph, I wasn't listening. Could you repeat all that? Yes, Gibbo. No problem at all. So way back, you had two fellas. There were two twins, Romulus and Remus. And, well, what happened was, we all heard the story. They were discarded on the banks of the Tiber in a little basket. And the lads who were supposed to get rid of them, well, the Tiber had flooded and they said, we're not going there. So the two lads were left. Until one day, a she-wolf came in and looked after them. Now, she-wolf is the same Latin name it's shared with... Anyway, moving on. Are you bored yet? German Kaiser, yeah, J-McCoo, exactly. Same thing. Kaiser came from Caesar. 100%. Wayland said you kind of skipped over Hannibal there. Oh, I did actually, yeah. Well, Hannibal, another Carthage. So you have a place called Cartagena in Spain. And Hannibal came along. And, yeah. His whole thing was he didn't like the Romans at all. So he wanted to go and take over the place. And so he raised armies and he said, right, I'm going to get them. And he marched over the Alps. He even brought elephants with him. Elephants? The Romans never saw elephants before, especially in battle. So he brought his elephants. I think one made it. And, yeah. They got to Rome, they found the city to be empty, they didn't sack it. Instead, they chased the Roman armies. But that absolutely terrified the Romans to think that, the enemy could be so, people had nightmares of Hannibal. He was the biggest threat to the Romans, to the Republic that they ever had up until that point. And what's also interesting about the city of Rome, when it was built, no army or no military force was allowed in past the city gates. They couldn't really pass the Rubicon. The Rubicon is a famous river located outside of the city. We'll actually be passing it. And it was said that no Roman general or army was allowed bear arms in the city. Look at all these. Is that the Thunderflies flying Cap 10s, by the way? They're not really Cap 10s, they're extras, are they? Extra 340s? But so yeah, skipping on a good bit on, and I'll skip a lot, but don't worry. If you have an interest in Rome, I'll put in a Roman channel. There are so many amazing documentaries available for free on the interwebs that'll bring you up to speed with anything and everything to do with Rome. So yes, the Thunderflies, fantastic. So Gaius Julius Caesar, a fascinating character was this lad. And, well, his story was he was born in, the family name, it was a big name. His father was he was some sort of a magistrate who looked after, Jerusalem. And he was kind of important to an extent, but he wasn't, a major name. Anyway, long story short, Caesar had kind of a colourful upbringing because you had your man, what's his name? Sulla. You had Marius and Sulla, who kind of became consuls, and they were not friends of the Julii at all, because the Julii would have been looked at a different side of Rome that they didn't agree with. But anyway, so Caesar spent a lot of his time outside of Rome when he was younger. And one particular story, he was captured by pirates, right? And, this is just to give you an idea of what Caesar's personality was like. Captured by pirates, and they said, we want £100 to release you. And he actually started arguing with them. £100? I'm worth at least 1,000. Tell them you want 1,000. And the pirates are like, yeah, what? That's the way Caesar was. And, he would often tell the pirates, Caesar's in captivity, he'd often tell them to shut up, stop making noise, be quiet, trying to read and learn. That was just he was fearless. And Caesar kind of said to them, and they thought he was joking, I've learned to appreciate the camaraderie of these pirates. He was saying to them, I've enjoyed this adventure with you people, but make no mistake, I will crucify every last one of you. And they were all like, oh, sit down, you haven't a clue. So anyway, they paid for Caesar's release because whatever magistrate or politician at the time, you couldn't have a citizen of Rome, to be executed by pirates. I mean, you can't let that happen. So they paid the few bob, they paid the ransom, and Caesar was released. And Caesar went back, found the pirates, and he crucified all of them, killed them all, as exactly what he said he was going to do. So that kind of, put Caesar in the limelight. He then spent a lot of his time, as any young aspiring politician did, to become a lawyer, or like a solicitor, right? So they would defend, they have all these court cases in the forum, and you would become more famous by representing the dude who was just absolutely the dude who was absolutely guilty. That's the fella you want to, stand for, because this is your chance to become famous. There was no TV, there was no newspapers, there was nothing in terms of media. So all the people standing out in the square, this man stole 12 goats. How do you know? He said he did it, and 100 people saw him. Grand, I'll defend him. And that's what he did. And the great orator, the Romans, when they were speaking, it's all hands. You know what I mean? Cicero and all these, but it's all hands. They speak like this. And I spoke unto them, they shall in the ways of speaking. Do you know, that's what they do. So Caesar got a huge name behind himself. And eventually, he got his first political position within the Republic. And he was made Pontifex Maximus, the Latin word that literally means the builder of bridges. And what's interesting about that name, well, it's still used today. You often heard the Pope the great the Pontiff Maximus, and that was the first one. Pontifex Maximus, the great pontiff, the builder of bridges. You were basically in charge of religion. That was Caesar's first gig. And, you're in charge of religion. They had so many different gods. And the Roman gods were pretty much based on the Greek gods who came long before them. The Romans always looked up to the Greeks in terms of their architecture, their civil codes, their literature, everything. The Romans really looked up to the Greeks because they were kind of came from that neck of the woods. The story of Sparta and all this. Or not Sparta, the story of Troy and all of this. It's all interlinked. You'll do your homework. But Caesar then went on. He got a military position. And, the biggest story of Caesar, or what made Caesar the man that everyone came to know him, was his battles in Gaul. He tried to expand the Republic at the time, and he went fighting in Gaul. Now, Gaul was the name given to anything that was on the far side of the Alps, in the French direction. France, essentially. So that's what he did. So Caesar went to take on the Gauls, and he fought with them for years. And the leader of the Gauls was a fella called Vercingetorix, a German. Vercingetorix, look at the countryside here. And anyway, long story, very, very short, Caesar won. He killed Vercingetorix, and Caesar became the greatest hero of all time. And his friend and ally at the time, a fella called Gnaeus Pompey, also known as Pompey Magnus, Pompey the Great. He was also consul. The two lads were consuls. And, Pompey was back in Rome. He was married to Caesar's daughter, Pompeia, or Lucretia. Need to check that. But anyway, that was the alliance. Do you know what I mean? Caesar said to Pompey, hey, you're me mate, you can marry me daughter. Sure, it's all grand. She died at given birth. She died. Hence, the alliance was broken. Pompey was then told, Caesar has become far too much powerful. He has raised territories. He's rich. He has all this money and power. What's going to happen next? Well, he's going to want to come back to Rome. You want to watch this fella, Pompey? You need to watch him. And the story about Pompey and how Pompey met Caesar and how they became friends. Pompey, in his own right, he was awarded the name Gnaeus Pompey Magnus. He was known as Pompey Magnus, Pompey the Great. And this is due to his military triumphs in Spain. He was an amazing general. Iberia, the whole Iberian Peninsula was taken over by Pompey. He marched his armies. He was even given the pat in the back, as it were, for getting rid of that little slave uprising led by Spartacus. I'm Spartacus, and so is my wife. Pompey was, even though it was Crassus and someone else, Pompey got a lot of, Pompey, yeah, he'll sort it. But he didn't really. He was in the right place at the right time. So Pompey, who was a very strong and huge admiration, he had a triumph back in Rome, which is a big carnival that they had, and this fella's great crack. Caesar looked up to him in a lot of ways. He said, "Here is this military genius, this general. He's popular with the people. He has great control, but he's not from the aristocracy. I'm a Julii. My divine right is to be in power." So Caesar, being Caesar, was a bit of a genius. There was a fella called Marcus Crassus. I'm almost certain. If I'm wrong on this, I'll jump on me toe. I think his name is Crassus, and he was the richest man in Rome. He was a businessman. He wasn't a general. He was just a businessman. The man had business. So Caesar said, "Hang on, here's a genius. Crassus, I'll teach you everything there is to know about being a general. In fact, I'll fight for you. Just give us a bit of money there, will you?" "Yes," he said. But then Caesar said, "I need a bit of political intellect. I need a bit of oomph from the political side of the house." So Crassus introduced him to Pompey. So you had Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey, and that they all met one night, had a couple of pints, and said, "Right, the three of us, we're going to control Rome." And that became known as the first triumvirate. You often hear of the great triumvirate. Well, that was the first one. These three lads were working together. They were in cahoots, and they're going to try and do a thing. Anyway, moving on. Caesar eventually came back to Rome, fell out with Pompey, didn't like what was going on. Pompey said, "I'm not having this," raised his armies and legged it, and Caesar crossed the Rubicon. You're not allowed to cross the Rubicon. Caesar did it. So he declared himself, what was the title? Well, he became dictator, but he just said, "Listen, I am dictator of Rome. I'm in charge. That's the end of it. Now, Caesar still wanted a republic. He didn't want to go back to monarchy or anything else. He wanted the republic. And what was interesting was Caesar had a nephew, and his name was Octavian. Much younger to him, but a bit of a genius was this child, and he spent a lot of time at Caesar learning everything there is about him. So between the ups and the downs and the lefts and the rights, Caesar spent a lot of time chasing Pompey, and Caesar's best general was a fellow called Marcus Antonius Antony, and I'm just waffling on. Someone tell me to shut up. Anyway, so Caesar and Mark Antony went chasing Pompey, and Pompey ended up going to Egypt. So Caesar said, I'll go to Egypt. And at the time, they were having a bit of a hassle with Ptolemy. Ptomley. Ptolemy II, who was basically, his brother was killed, or his father was killed. They put this child pharaoh in his place, and they controlled him. Meanwhile, Ptolemy had a sister, and his sister was called Cleopatra, and they didn't like her because, well, she had her own ideas of what way the Egyptians were going to work out. So Caesar gets down there, didn't like he was chatting to a kid. Caesar says, hang on, I'm going to help out Cleopatra. I'll put my own puppet government in here, which he did. Caesar helped Cleopatra, he put her into power. The deal was, Egypt would become a vassal of Rome, which, Rome says, we're in charge, okay, and we want all your grain and all the food. You need to keep that moving to Rome, because Caesar knew, we've a metropolis back in Rome, we need to keep the people happy. We need to feed them, and we need to keep them happy, because an unhappy Roman is a dangerous Roman, and, you get ousted out and you get all this kind of stuff, So anyway, between all of this, Pompey was executed by Ptolemy's crowd. They tried to win one for Caesar. Caesar, listen, we were great lads. Here's Pompey. And it actually broke Caesar's heart, because he still considered Pompey a very, very close friend. What's remarkable, the ancestor of your man Brutus, who I mentioned earlier, who killed the last king of Rome, well, his ancestor, or, his great grandson, Brutus, sided with Pompey. And the mother of Brutus, Tarquinia, I think? I forget her name. But she was Caesar's mistress. Do you know what I mean? They're all intertwined here. Like, you couldn't make this stuff up. Caesar was kind of, how's it going on a Saturday night? Do you know what I mean? Showing the old dance moves. And her son Brutus, who Caesar considered him to be his son. He really cared for him, and it broke his heart because he sided with Pompey. But after Pompey was dead, Caesar, the man that he was, offered his hand. He offered him the olive branch and said, you're completely forgiven. Let us move on. We have much work to do. Don't worry about any of this kind of messing that went on. Everything's grand. You're completely forgiven. Let's get back to work. I need your help. I want to get the Republic back on track. Zang, said Brutus. And that's what he did. Hey, Lucario Blue is here. So that's what they did. They got back to Rome. They had a couple of things to do. Caesar started doing, he started commissioning great works, great projects. And all the while he was working with his nephew, Octavian. Then, out of nowhere, hey, like the program is here, out of nowhere, they rose up against Caesar. They rose up. They didn't like him. They said, we have to save the Republic. This man is absolutely nuts. He's a tyrant. Rome cannot have a tyrant. He's a king. We don't do kings. Therefore, this mob of lads, who were trying to save the Republic, approached Brutus and said, Brutus, because of your ancestry, your divine right, your sole purpose in life is you need to be the one to get rid of Caesar. Which he didn't want to do, because Caesar forgave him for betrayal, and he looked after him, and he was really, really good to him. But no, they were all mad. They had a couple of pints, and they said, listen, you need to be the man because your name is Brutus. So what happened was, on the Ides of March, which I think is the 15th of March, sometime in March, they ambushed Caesar. And they stabbed him in the Senate, on the steps. They killed him. And there's a famous saying, which I'm almost certain probably didn't happen, but seemingly when Caesar was getting stabbed, he used the name A2 Bruti, which is Latin for "and you, Brutus." As in, that was the sudden realization that Caesar has been absolutely betrayed by Brutus. So, anyway, Caesar unfortunately was killed, and the whole thing backfired on the lads who decided to kill him. because the people went absolutely nuts. Caesar was loved. He was giving them food, he was providing games, he was rebuilding the cities. Everything was tickety-boo under Caesar, and now these Egypts came along and created a big mess. Didn't like that at all. So, what happened then? Caesar, the genius, in his will, gave everything to his nephew, Octavian, including his name. Caesar. So Octavian is now a boy. He has all the money, he's all the booty, he's all the army, he's everything. And he says, what do we do with this? Caesar's most trusted commander or general, Mark Antony, he always assumed he would get all the stuff because he was his most loyal subject. But that's where blood is thicker than water. Mark Antony was, yes, he was close to him, but he's not family. So Mark Antony didn't like this one bit. So he said, right, I'm going to kill the Octavian fella. I'm just going to go to Egypt. And that's where you have the whole love affair with, Mark Antony and Cleopatra. That was roughly in and around then. They were having the crack. So anyway, another very, very long story made very, very short. Octavian got rid of Mark Antony, killed him, or they killed himself. I think it was like suicide or whatever, but they killed each other. Octavian became the leader. That was it. He had no enemies. And Octavian renamed himself and he became Caesar Augustus. That kid who was with Caesar, who Caesar knew he was very intelligent, there was something special about him. He became the first emperor of Rome, known as Caesar Augustus, or Emperor Augustus. He was once known as Octavian, the nephew of Julius Caesar. Now, there's going to be a quiz. What colour was Caesar's hair? Right, we're nearly there. All me waffling. Have you learned that at all? Maybe I just made it all up. Mr. Tudon says, Caesar was rumoured to be Brutus's father. Yes. I didn't know that about Sim Caesar. Not just a streamer, you see. Sim Caesar he's got it going on. I think you overshot the runway, Murph, by 3 weeks. Yeah, I'll stop talking now. God almighty. Have you any shame, Murph? Right, we're going to do one of these. Let's get some dance emotes. I know she's not here tonight, but she might be watching. Let us get some dance emotes into the chat for Annalisa. Maurice says he wore a wig. Dougal McTavish is in the house. Good to see you. Gibbo Harlan says, my history teacher just sat reading the paper while making us read the books. You missed her calling, Murph. So, we're getting close. We're only a few minutes out. Look at the state of the countryside here. Isn't it incredible? When will you be getting to Nero? Waiting to hear that. So, I left you in the whole kind of, the timeline is now somewhere around kind of, what year are we? We've just hit kind of 1 AD kind of thing. And, the first emperor of Rome, Caesar Augustus is in power, and he's brought peace to the entire realms of the empire.
Just be careful you don't skip
Oh, I've left so many characters out.
so much out.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the Game of Thrones version. You know, I'll just keep peddling on.
They all saying you should have been a teacher. I'm the one that's taught you most of that. So like,
Yeah. I smelled burning a minute ago. It could have been for me now, you know, but that's why I opened the door. Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know, just maybe have a look in next door. It's coming from there. We should be outside, you know. Murphy talks so long he's now flying above Greece. How does every Italian joke start? By looking over your shoulder. Wait, what? The boss is in the house. She is. So yeah, so Nero, right? Someone mentioned Nero. Nero, by the way, was the very last of the bloodline. He was the 5th emperor of Rome, and he was the very last bloodline descendant of Caesar Augustus. Now, they called him the Mad Emperor. You know, Rome burned and he fiddled, which is all kind of rubbish. But, you know, then there were 12 Caesars. Mrs. Two-Tone is the genius behind the merch. She absolutely is. She absolutely is. Mrs. Two-Tone does all the reading. I just look at things, you know. I look at documentaries and stuff and... Oh, I pressed the button. I look at documentaries and kind of learn from there. Do you know? Look at the state of this countryside. Isn't this fantastic? There's an airport down there. We're going to land at this now. So I can't really choose a runway, but if I could, it'll be 16 right. Do you know Nero, right? Emperor Nero was building a palace. And the palace was massive. I was in it. We got, as I said, we got some very kind of backstage access into Nero's palace, which is underground, by the way. And we're the modern site, I'll show you all this now in a while. The modern site of the Colosseum was once a man-made lake. And it had a colossus of Nero. Huh? An artificial lake, yes. Artificial lake. And it was once there was a colossus, a statue, if you will, of Nero. I think like a 90-meter statue, made of gold. There's a man who wasn't vain. And Nero, an emperor, also famous because he used to play musical instruments and sing in amphitheatres for the people. And you couldn't boo him. He was the emperor. There'd be none of that. If his jokes were bad, you still had to laugh. Do you know what I mean? Godden says, the chopper with no doors in VR is so much fun. Nice! So we're just kind of... I'm slowing down because, well, we need to make a gentle descent down here. I think that's... Is that the airport? I think it is. Open up. LIQN. That's where we're going. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's it. Thunderflies. The lads are flying different aircraft tonight. It's cool. Chat disconnected. What the deuce? That could be a problem. So we'll ramble over this side. This is where the helipads are. And he burned CDs. You could do it once. Huh? I'm only back. I missed something in the chat. So we'll bring ourselves in for a gentle landing. And as I said, once we get down to Rome, I'll show you a lot of these buildings that have that kind of historic significance. That was like a crash course in, like, do you know what I mean? How was Caesar salad made? But if you know, if it sparked any interest at all, well then, you know what I mean? You could do it once. Nero. Ah, Robert De Niro. I see what you did. I just want to land over here. Mind the trees, Murph. They hurt. To gently put it down. Easy now. Easy now. 30 feet per minute. That's good. And we're down safely. So we got some more choppers here. Will we turn on the nameplates? The dreaded nameplates. We'll have a look to see who's flying with us. Just, do you know what I mean? Just to kind of check it all out. There's so many. Anyone coming in? There's Count Zepp. There's a Catbat 9. Nicely done, my dude. Oh yeah, Gibbo, that's a good idea. Hey, I'm gonna try and work them. Two feet per minute in the Stearman. Alison Johnson. Holy moly. Look at the amount of choppers. Isn't this amazing? Here's the guys. There was the guys. We lost them. I'm hoping tomorrow that all gets fixed. Look at the amount of choppers here, lads. Isn't it amazing? Right, what we're going to do, we're going to continue on. So, press some buttons, Murph. Yes, yes, yes. Turn off the nameplates. Yes, yes. Alrighty. So, I left you in this position. And we have our little visualizer there. Can you see the joystick setup there? Minus 1,432 feet per minute. Nice. Okay, so we're going to head now from here. We're going to be heading down to Rome. So we have a bit of a trek to do. Not too far. Let's see if we can bring that up as on the screen as well. Give it a moment. Why did that disconnect? Uno momento, numero uno. So we're just waiting for this to turn on. Ran out of fuel. Oh yeah! So, you guys, check your fuel. It used very little, look. It was mainly the auxiliary tank. So, we're over here, look. We're here. And we're now going to head to the southwest. Down towards Rome itself. So this should be interesting. So we'll take our time. Lights, all that kind of good stuff is on, ready to go. Right. Altonite is in the house. What's the crack? The crack is 90. How are you, my dude? Andrea is away. You take care, my dude. Tom B. Stone is here. What Microsoft server do you like to use? I like using the old North Europe server. Andrea says, I'll show you around Rome someday. Oh, absolutely. Would love that. Very kind of you, my dude. Right. Like Frozen, we're gonna let it go. Yes, yes. And this way looks good. Nice. So don't worry, I'll kind of hang around the airfield for a while, let everyone take off. I can't get a pedal overlay for the TPR pedals, unfortunately. Lightworks 3D, gotta go. You take care, my dude. Many thanks for joining us. Who's on the Murph line this week, says Keen? We're going to have Mr. Hoppy joining us this Wednesday. The man behind the taking Murph out of context and putting him back into context video maker dude. Looking forward to that. Speed is good. Altitude is good. Look at this. Look at the countryside here. Isn't it gorgeous? I gotta tell you, the choppers are a lot of fun. Look at that for a view. Just picked up the PA-28 Arrow. It's a lot of fun. Oh, it is. Which one did you pick up? Was it the Coronado one or Just Flight? Both are good. Jepson is back to fixed wing. Oh, behave. Look at this. So many choppers flying with us. This is amazing, isn't it? Right, so what we need to do, get ourselves straight up here now, hey. And we're going to go to autopilot on, follow nav mode, and we want to climb back up to about 3,600 feet, as was our want. There we go. We'll hide you. Just Flight. I've used this stuff for years now. I did hear the Coronado was good though. Yeah, I love the Just Flight one. I think it's just remarkable, and they're constantly tweaking it, which is great. But yeah, no, the Coronado one is fine. Absolutely fine. So we're heading the right way. We're about 25 minutes-ish away from Rome. This is looking very, very pretty indeed. There's I'll put a link up over in Discord. There was a fantastic documentary by a chap called Alexander. What's his name, Mr. Two-Tone? Alexander. English fella. What's his name? Alexander something, and don't say the Great. Alexander something. It's called Rome Underground or something like that. Amazing documentary, fascinating. Why is the Just Flight not on the marketplace? It will be at some stage, Scott, just not at the moment. Alexander Graham Bell? No. His cousin, twice removed. Armstrong, Curious Bee. Yes! Curious Bee is a genius! Alexander Armstrong. I'll put the link on it. It's on, is it Vimeo it's called? Or Vimeo? Vimeo? I'll put the link up on Discord. It's free to watch. It's an hour long. It's fascinating. That's the one, Squawk Torque. Yeah, that's the one. Also, like, if you're into your... It's okay, they got it. Alexander Armstrong. You're putting the bin in. Putting the bin out. You go out in the rain. You love that though. You've been roasting all day. Mr. Two-Tone putting out the bins. Those who drink Australia, think Australia. Now, I want one of these villas just for fun. Absolutely. Francisco Fortes. Many thanks for the subscribe, huh?
I want to watch documentary.
Yeah.
Mary Bird.
Mary Beard. Mary Beard, fascinating. Richard Miles, fascinating.
Alexander Armstrong.
Put up a couple of links there, will you? Mr. Two-Tone is going to sort us out with all the stuff over on Discord. They're great links to watch, depending on your region, but like some fascinating documentaries. And if I've just created the tiniest little itch that you need to scratch in terms of Roman history, well then, I'm telling you, what an adventure you are about to start, because it is fascinating. Scott's bins go out tomorrow morning. So do ours, but we put them out tonight. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't know what time the bin man... The garbage man can... We don't know what time they arrive at. Yes, the garbage man can... Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we're doing well, lads. So, it's time for one of these. Ooh. Just want to say a big thanks to a lot of kind people who support the channel by way of subscribing. Very kind of you. We have a flight crew. Big shout out to Anna Crusses, Andy Shaw, Austin Butenbach, Captain Gio Sir Neil, Fly Darren, Ford Entertainment Group, Gareth Byrne, Goblin 2Biz, Hal Jor, Larson 202, Nathaniel Davin, Nick Stratford, Peter, Fast Pete 84, Ricky Keller, Squawk Torque, Tim Middleton, and Willie Canuck. To my flight crew, thank you. Moving on, we got our co-pilots. And a big shout out to Oz Flight Simmer, Brian Spain, Captain Sickbag, Dougal McTavish, Jarden 1 Abel, John Ambler, John Morris, Ludus Regum, Mark Dyson, Mr. Zed 123, Noel K, Patrick Cullen, Tony Robinson. There's a mountain ahead. 6 knots, Abo 92, 8 Barley, Airlock Dock, Airwolf 643, Alaska 559. Alson Rat City, Amika, Andrew Hill, Arctic Turn, Bozman, Bad Dog, he's a great dog. Baronco SP, Belbro, Billowette, Blue Mana Battery, Brandon Lowe, Brown Doe, Bit Monster, Care 85, Captain Seppi, Combat 9, Causeway 04, CDN Taz, Celery Sticks, Citizen 6, Cool Sax 98, Captain Takashi, Crompton 33, DC Viper, Dreadnought, Eamon 1973, Eltar 8800. We got an Espen 74, Farron Knox, Flow Rider, Fort Noob, Francog 2021, Friend to All, Gary JF. We got a Gordon 77, G-Funk 666, Glaswegian Aviator, GNLU, Goblin Zeus, Hans Grubber Jr., Hasco 1970, Hawk Dryer 101, Hawk Driver even, Hawk Dryer. We got a Hopping Orange. We have an Erlansky, Jan Moorkamp, Jojo 1, Joey Bolo 77, Johnny Aardvark, Jamel Moo, Jay Winokur, Karev Lemerge, Kirkness, Kilo Zebra, Copper Pete, Kozaki Flyer, Lenning Way, Liked Program, Mad C 888, Matty Losa, Melko Burger, Masonic Lake. We got a Mick Ham, Mild Cat, MJ Dysel, Mondeo Man, Mr. Hoppy, Muse Fan, Naughty Gnome, Neon Jedi, Nightsep, Noel K, Piat 691, Phil Does Twitch, Pyrotech, Purple Kona, Rad Pilot Randy, Rafa RCS, Red Dragon Comrie, Reese Chandler, Rob MCR, Rogers RC75, Scorpio 49, CDL, Shoney Gaming, Shuffle Shoes, Spasmos, Speednut, Spitfire REF 100. We got Splasher 6, Steve Solo UK, Storm Talker, Swamp Dragon, Tarbridge Knight, Test Pilot, The Flying Fabio, Tritz 4 Triggered, Two Cats, Waltons, with Ganner 99, K Branch, and Sir Fuzz. Many thanks, my dudes. Moving on. Oh, we'll do this one. Yes. We like this one. Pilots in command, a big shout out to Ailerons into Wind, Captain Rudiger, Dangerous Brian, Daza T Arab, HCBR 1100, Annalisa, Kaharia, Kebmo 25, Kingsman 9965, Mr. Chippy, Pilot Peely, Scotland, Comet Project, Seamus McNeil, Soaring AJ, Tom LeCrab, Warhamster, Wayne Prefontaine, Ibuprofen, and Jeppesen 2001. Many thanks. Last but not least, our wing commanders. A huge shout out to Alison Johnson, Andy Brown, Colonel Fork 85, Gibbo Ireland, Old Veteran 965, and PE1PQ. Many thanks, my dudes. The love is real, man. Grey Hawk is in the chat. Great to see you, my dude. Hope all is well. The Sabine Hills are right there. Get some light on the subject. Many thanks to Greg Bajor. Look at the state of that. It's thinking about it. It's still thinking about it. It's like we're frozen in time. Give it a second, it's thinking about it. Or it could just like, nah, we're not doing it. Oh, look, it fixed it! God almighty, that was close, wasn't it? That was like a serious hang. Everyone disappeared and everything. What are the frames doing? Keep it together, man. We'll give it a minute or two. That was positively terrifying. We need Thunder Chopper teams. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Now, let's do some of this. The servers are doing things. It's happening. See, I've pre-cached all this area. Hey, there's some people popping in. I've pre-cached the whole city of Rome, so it's kind of like hard drives trying to load up the data now. We still got some peoples. The photogrammetry in Rome is amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff. We're kind of doing all right. We are approaching the Imperial City. Andy Hurst says, Murph, you had to make me learn how to fly a chopper. I love it. They are so much fun. And to think that this is free as well, it just gives you an entirely new experience to have in Microsoft Flight Simulator. News fan says, hit the like button, try to get it to 100. Are we nearly at 100 likes? Go on the likes. Where are we at? We've like 95 likes. Go on for the win. We can do it. Right, what we need to do, disconnect autopilot. Manual flying for the win. Because, well, here we are in Rome. So we have many sights to see. Many places to visit. So we're going to go this neck of the woods, over by the ginormous football pitches. The big, massive stadium. We got 104. Wait, what? Hey, wait, Wayne Prefontaine has rumbled in. Good to see you, my dude. Many thanks for joining us. So we're going to enter the viewing as we're going to come in by St. Peter's Basilica. The Vatican, or Vatican City. Now, what's fascinating about Vatican City, it's its own sovereign, independent city-state. They have their own laws, their own passports. They are an independent city, which is remarkable. Now, okay, religion kind of takes over when you talk about the Vatican. But one thing I will say, there's the Tiber, the River Tiber. Look, Rome was built on 7 hills, by the way. And well, some of the sewer systems, the aqueducts, like these guys were light years ahead of their time, light years, because the Tiber would flood, and because there's 7 hills, Rome was built primarily on marshlands. So we shall ramble in this side, and we'll start exploring in and around Vatican City. Now what I might do, I might pause the chopper, right, and just use the drone cam to show off some of the sites, because I think this is going to be interesting. Alright? So what we're going to do, don't mind me, you guys fly around, but I want to show the peoples all the different sites that we have. Alright? So, let's see if we can pause it. There we go. Active pause engaged. Drone cam on for the win. And let's see if we can go exploring. So this one here, Vatican City. The Pope lives here. Now, regardless of your religious beliefs, we just don't go there. It is a beautiful looking building. Like the architecture, all the statues, it's absolutely fantastic. And it's fascinating. They built Rome on a Wednesday afternoon. Don't mind that Rome wasn't built in a day. It was built in half a day. A Wednesday afternoon. Now, what's very interesting about Vatican City, and well, St. Peter's Basilica, which is absolutely ginormous, by the way. Well, let's go exploring over this neck of the woods. One of the most famous buildings in Vatican is that of the Sistine Chapel, which is here. See that building here? Don't mind the photogrammetry, but that there is the Sistine Chapel, which is home to some of the finest art collections in the world. Now, I don't know if you guys see, there was a movie, I think it was called The Two Popes? You guys ever seen it? It was all about, like, was it Ratzinger and, the new guy, Benedict. It was really well made. But here's some interesting things, right? Here's stuff you don't get to learn by visiting, because it's all to do with the art and the Renaissance and, all these lads. Like, it's a beautiful building. And the Sistine Chapel, absolutely incredible. Of course, the most famous of all, the roof painting. The obelisk. That's an obelisk. See that kind of a weird looking thing? The obelisk is an Egyptian monument, by the way. Now, what I want to show you here is interesting. Because here's something you may not know. An aqueduct feeds the Vatican. There is an aqueduct that runs from the Vatican. If you guys can see it. See, like, the wall here? Yeah? That's an aqueduct. The aqueduct. And what's fascinating about this one, the aqueduct goes all the way from the Vatican. By the way, if you're ever in Rome, there's restaurants along here. Be very careful. Look at the prices before you bought it. Myself and Mrs. Two-Tone went in. It was around here. We went in for like pizza and a Red Bull. It was €80. That's like $100 for one pizza and 2 cans of Red Bull. We were robbed. Now, what's important? See the aqueduct? Yes, seen. We can all see the aqueduct. And this one here, this building, Castel di Sant'Angelo. This is the mausoleum of a Roman emperor. Hadrian. Now, we've all heard of Hadrian's Wall, up near Scotland. What did Hadrian ever do? He built a wall. This is his mausoleum. But what's fascinating about Castel di Sant'Angelo, do you see the aqueduct that runs all the way up to Vatican City. This was a secret escape route for the Pope, whereby he could leave St. Peter's Basilica and get into the citadel of the Castel di Sant'Angelo. Isn't that amazing? He was able to sneak out. They'd never think. He was in the aqueduct. He used to run down there at a rate of knots because, like, popes are going since, like, I don't know, 600 AD or something, and probably before that. And the popes kind of controlled a lot of, well, you had the Holy Roman Empire, and you had, you know what I mean? Like, there was a whole load of stuff going on, which is like, that's a history lesson for another day, right? But I just thought that's fascinating because I never knew that. The aqueduct that feeds on up to the Vatican, it was also a private escape route for the Pope. Isn't that amazing? Like, isn't that just fascinating? And if you ever do visit Rome, right? And if you want to go to the Vatican, you'll walk along the Tiber here, right? Go down by the trees. And you'll be down over here, right? And when you're roughly here, there'll be a whole load of fellas saying, oh, I'll get you access, pay me $50 and I'll bring you, you can skip the queue and I'll bring you into all the secret places. Ignore the lads who are up here. Ignore them. Just walk past them. Tell them, no, you're grand, mate. Don't worry about it. Stay walking. Then you'll get to around here and there'll be more of them. And they'll say, I'll bring you in for around $40. And you tell them, no, forget it, mate. It's not going to happen. Then you get up as far as here. And they're saying, I'll do it for about $30. Give me €30 and I'll show you all the sites in the Vatican and we'll skip the queue. Tell him no as well. Wait till you get up all the way. Keep going to here. Right here. See where the roads, the 4 crossroads? These are the guys to talk to and you'll haggle them. You'll say, listen, I'll give you $20. And he'll say 25. And you'll say 17. And he'll say, come on, mate. And you'll say 20, take it or leave it. He'll say 20. He will then lead you down this little road. There's a small little office right here. You go in, you pay your €20. And then he'll say, right, we'll pick you up in half an hour or 45 minutes. You then go to this little street here, for which there are many little restaurants. Get yourself a pint or a Coke or a tea or a coffee or whatever it is and wait. Then they'll come along, they'll pick you up and they'll bring you in this way. You walk up and along all the way, yes. And you'll notice the aqueduct, it's walled. It protects the walls of the Vatican. So you have to walk all the way along this way. See this? Yes. You walk all the way along. See the wall there? Look. See the wall? Seen? That's a wall. And they bring you up this side of the wall. Then you enter the Vatican from over here. And they bring you into security. This is the main entrance here, by the way. See the gate? So they bring you in there. It's all security. They scan you. They search your soul for any impure thoughts. And once you have all that done, well, you're in, lads. You're in the Vatican. And then you're brought in, you have all the gardens, which don't look as kind of Minecraft as that. They're actually very, very beautiful. And you walk in, and you go to the main courtyard, and you're into these buildings. They've all various art galleries. Absolutely incredible stuff is going on in there. Then you can go into the Sistine Chapel, have a look at the paintings on the roof. You can go in and see, what else is in there? What else do they have in there? There was something else in there that was important. They've loads of beautiful collections of art. Then, what they do is, they let you out a little door in here, which gives you straight access to go into the basilica. Everyone else has to walk out the front door and queue here for about an hour or 2 hours. But if you do the little tour with your man that you paid him €20, he'll bring you in this way. There's a door in there. So, Murph's tip of the day, if you want to go see the Vatican, you walk up by Castel di Sant'Angelo, which is that mad looking building here, right? And you're going to have loads of people, and, they'll all be very professional. They'll all have, and they are professional, they're tour guides, they'll have their little ID badges. Don't go near the lads here, or here. Once you get up as far as here, the 4 roads, right? This is where you want to go. And you haggle them. Well, now go. You haggle. And then he brings you down there, and away you go. And it's very, very good. And if you're into your art, that is where it is. There's phenomenal stuff in there. And if you're anyway religious, plus you can also get your passport stamped because they have the what are the lads called? The Vatican dudes, Vatican soldiers, but there's a name of them. Murph, I believe the one thing about Rome is you walk the legs off yourself. You do. Myself and Mr. Two-Tone, get this. We spent 3 days in Rome. We walked 87 kilometres. I wouldn't do that if you paid me. We walked 87 kilometers. We walked so many places around the city, which is the Swiss Guard. Come on, Waltons, the Swiss Guard, right? So this is the Vatican, and again, you do the Vatican in about a day. I'm more into ancient Rome. You know, I'm into the Empire and the Republic and all of these kind of things. But you can't go to Rome without at least seeing the Vatican. Now, second tip from Murph, and this is important. Make sure you see the city and go out exploring at night time. The reason being, there are so many less people around. Plus, Rome at night time just looks amazing with all the lights. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing stuff. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the places are closed, but you can still walk up and look at these tremendous monuments all over the shop. Absolutely incredible. So, we continue on our little adventure, and we're going to go down this way now. We'll do this. So, from the River Tiber, go past the Castle di Sant'Angelo. This mad-looking building, it's like it belongs like somewhere out of Egypt. It is very, very beautiful indeed. It's a government building, but you can walk past that, with your back to it, cross the Tiber. And this is important, because we're going to go to some very cool-looking places. So you walk down this way, yes, ramble in, all is going well so far. On the first stop, we'll have this square, this piazza, or plaza. This is called the Piazza Novana. It's one of the most beautiful squares in Rome. The Piazza Novana, famous church, and again, beautiful art. There are incredible fountains here. Now, tip of the day for Murph. There is a teeny tiny little cafe that serve wine, amongst other drinks. In there, right there. You can go in there and get what's called a platter. And they have all beautiful Italian meats, different cheeses, grapes, olives, all that wonderful good stuff. And they serve it to you on a big massive wooden board. And you can also buy a bottle of house wine. And for myself and Mr. Two-Tone, when you hear this, you're in a capital of a European city, and you're in ancient Rome. That big massive platter, which is, and you know, there's bread and olive oil and all this. It's a lot of food. And a bottle of wine, for the two of us, €20. 20 euro, that's around $25. For a bottle of wine, lads. It's in that building right there, on the Piazza Novana. So, after you see the Vatican, come down to the Piazza Novana, and you have a bite to eat and a glass of wine. Now, during the summertime, and for most of the winter time, this place at night time, and it only kicks off at around kind of 9 p.m. at night, well, the whole place turns into restaurants, and there are tons of them. An absolute ton of different restaurants. Which, you know, if you want, you can go there. But, visit the Piazza Novana, then ramble out this way. Now remember, you've done lots of walking, you've recharged the batteries, you've given yourself a glass of wine, and you've eaten some nice meats. Cut across this way, through the narrow streets, some beautiful high-rise buildings. Again, most of these are ancient buildings, or they're built on the foundations of ancient buildings. And we're going to ramble over this way. Come by the little square, there's a little pub there in the corner, don't mind him. Come on up this way, and then this way, you'll pass all these parked cars, and then you'll hear people, you'll hear noise, friendly noise. Turn right, and walk onto this square. This square is home of the Pantheon, one of the oldest buildings in Rome, and it's almost exactly intact. The Pantheon was built as a structure to celebrate the gods. There are many former kind of kings are buried in here. Kings of Italy are buried in there. I think Raphael is buried in there. And here is the famous domed roof, the largest of its kind, built with unsupported concrete. It's not reinforced concrete. This building was built 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. And there's mad writing on the front of it. You can't see it because it's in Latin. But what it translates into English, right? Maga Agrippa, whatever it's called. But it basically says, Marcus Agrippa, consul of the second time, built this. Agrippa was the closest friend and military genius general of Caesar Augustus. He was his best friend, and he was a tactical genius. Now, there's talk that the original Pantheon burnt down and was rebuilt, but that's what it says at the front. Marcus Agrippa, consul of the second time, built this. Now, Ice cream. There's a dude over here. Right there. This is an ice cream shop. You can buy your gelato. It's Italian ice cream. You haven't lived until you've had gelato. So you have your ice cream in there for your dessert and you walk around. Also, see this building right here? See where the mouse is now? Right there? That's an excellent restaurant and it's not expensive. You can get like nice pizza or nice pasta dishes in there. Absolutely amazing stuff. And again, you have to see this building at night time. Google the Pantheon. Just put it into your Google search bar, you'll see the building. It has some of the largest doors I've ever seen in my life, and they weigh tons. Tens of tons. They weigh an absolute ton. And the pillars, the marble pillars, were transported in. They were like brought through the streets of Rome over 2,000 years ago. Absolutely banana stuff. Do you know what I mean? From here, we can leave the Pantheon and we shall ramble through the streets. And we'll go this way. Now, what's going to be absolutely cool here, here's another little square, another small little piazza, that's fine. There's a Victory Column. Now, if we go up this way, turning left, we're going to come across then the Forum of Gnaeus Pompey Magnus, right? And this is interesting because they've only uncovered this place not so long ago, right? Oh yeah, what was that one again? That wasn't... oh, it is. I've gone too far. We'll go back to there now in a minute. Hang on. Don't mind me. It's all part of the tour. So there's the Pantheon. Now where's... Don't mind me. It's up... Ah, it's up this way. As I said, they've only found this place. An entire forum of that of Pompey Magnus. Have I gone too far? I've probably gone too far. Anyway, it's up this neck of the woods, right? It's important. You have to go see it because they're still digging it. They're still finding stuff in it. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely incredible. But anyway, from the Pantheon, which is there, see the round dome building? Walk out this way and up this road. And you pass by that column. See the column? The pillar? Yeah, go on up past this. Now wait and you see this, right? This is going to like... This will blow you sideways. Turn left here. This building here is the mausoleum of Caesar Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. It's said that he's buried in there. And in this museum thingy here beside it, there's a famous wall. And it's the epitaph of Caesar Augustus. And in his writings, every other emperor or, consul or king beforehand, they had said, I was the great man. I did this. I did that. Caesar Augustus was very, very different. In his writings, he said, they offered me the crown. I said no. They told me I was a great man. I said, I'm a citizen. He was a very humble man. Very, very humble. And the original monuments, again, you're talking 2,000 years old, are housed within that modern building. And then you have this temple here, which is the mausoleum of Caesar Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. And you can just walk up there. Do you know what I mean? So, moving on from there, do a U-turn and head over this direction. Alright? So just to get your bearings, there's the Pantheon. We cut across and come up this road. And we have the mausoleum of Caesar Augustus, which is here. Here's the Tiber. The Vatican is way, way back over here on our left. See it there? Seen? Seen. So, from here, we cut straight across. And this little street here, this is where you have all your Armani, all these mad Italian shops. Really, really expensive clothes. I saw clothes now. I saw clothes in there for like 20 or 30,000 euros. For like a suit. A $30,000 suit. What? Anyway, keep walking up this way. Up this street until you come to this area here. Now, it doesn't look great here, but I can assure you, in real life, it's amazing. This here, these are known as the Spanish Steps. Absolutely incredible. Now, it's a bit of a marathon to get up there. You'll be tired and sore. But once you get up here, well, the views are amazing. And again, you have another obelisk. So you have the view from the Spanish Steps, which are roughly this sort of a view, which is nice if you look at this. If you look at the skyline, do you know what I mean? Absolutely incredible. Now everything seems to be in fairly close proximity, which it is. You know, a walk from the Vatican to here is about 40 minutes on foot, maybe 45 minutes. From the Pantheon to here, 20. It's only about 20 minutes. And everywhere you look in Rome, you'll just discover something new. Do you know what I mean? So when we're finished at the Spanish Steps, we'll ramble down this way. Now we don't have to go too far, but we ramble on down and around. And we're doing well so far. At this stage now, you're not really hungry, but you'd nearly say yes to another sort of maybe another bit of gelato. Do you know what I mean? Another bit of ice cream, because it's getting at the stage now where you're just saying to yourself, I could do with another ice cream. So, where you have to go for ice cream once we're up this neck of the woods, need to find it now, bear with me, let me get me bearings, we're very close. That's too far. Hang on now. There's the Spanish Steps, yes, come down this way, Murph. It's a very famous fountain. We're close. We're damn close. Where is it? Did they move it? They knew Murph was coming and they said, right, we're going to move... We're going to move the fountain. That's it there, but it's under scaffolding. Right, not to worry. This here is the famous Trevi Fountain. Now, point to note, there is an ice cream shop, or gelato, right here. You will pay about $10 for an ice cream, but I can assure you, it tastes like $10 ice cream. It's amazing. And the tradition is here, you stand with your back to the fountain, and you throw a coin over your shoulder, for which you will find true love. Now, that's not great in fairness. It's the photogrammetry is taken when it's obviously getting cleaned or getting fixed up. But again, if you Google the Trevi Fountain, you'll see how it looks. Now, here's something fascinating. One of the aqueducts that we're going to follow to get us home to our final airport tonight, that aqueduct is one of the oldest in Rome, and it's still in operation today. Isn't that incredible? It's more than 2,000 years and it still feeds this fountain. So that is the Trevi Fountain. Moving on. So you can see the Pantheon. It's just there. You see St. Peter's way over there. The Spanish Steps are over there. And here's the Trevi Fountain, right? So from here, we walk back towards this neck of the woods. And again, you're walking through different streets, just lovely shops and churches and apartments, beautiful architecture. So turning left here, we're walking towards ancient Rome, most notably the Forum. But before we get there, there's a very famous building. This building right here, there is a famous photograph of Mussolini standing right there, proclaiming his greatness, that he was, the supreme commander of the Italians and he's going to be having the crack and, he's going to get up to all sorts of mischief in North Africa. This building is famous because that's where Mussolini was. There's a famous photograph there of Benito Mussolini. The reason I've stopped here is because the view. This monument, often referred by some of the Romans as ugly, it's known as the Altar of the Fatherland, and it houses the forgotten soldier. He lives in there, and there is the eternal flame of Rome, which is, you can't see it here, but it's under armed guard, and Italian soldiers do the whole maneuver, and the lighting of that flame goes back to ancient Rome, where the story was you had what was called the Vestal Virgins. And the Vestal Virgins, if you had your daughter and at the age of 6 years of age, it will be chosen that they will become a Vestal Virgin. Their entire life will be devoted to keeping the flame of Rome, or the light of Rome, lit. And it was often said, if that was ever extinguished, the world would end and all this sort of crack. But, well, you have the flame of Rome right there in the middle. And it's under armed guard. This building was built, I think, sometime in the 1930s. And again, people didn't like about it because, you know, it was built pretty much on the Forum. But that's okay. So you'll notice now, we've just arrived at the Roman Forum, or at least part of it. So this neck of the woods up here, this building in particular, which is fascinating, this is known as Trajan's Market. And it is fascinating. It's an old market. And these are ancient buildings. You know, they're subterranean, so they're maybe 20 or 30 feet beneath you. All right? And absolutely fascinating. So this is Trajan's Market. Then down here, a lot of this stuff has only been discovered in the last number of years, parts of these forums, and in particular this one here, because this forum here, this particular one, is called Caesar's Forum. And this was only discovered not terribly long ago. All right? So we're about to enter the Roman Forum. And this goes back, as I said, you know, 2,500 years ago. So we'll ramble in. This is the Forum. And you have all these magnificent looking temples. Absolutely incredible stuff. This one right here, I'm almost certain it's this one. This was the Temple of Saturn. So the Romans built all these magnificent marble temples, you know, as worship houses for the gods. Temple of Mars, Temple of Jupiter, Temple of Saturn, so on and so forth. And the Temple of Saturn, well, it also had to happen to have been the main bank. All the booty was put in there, all the money, all the cash. That's what they kept it, which is absolutely fantastic. Temple of Saturn. Over here, then, I believe there's something close by whereby you had the Temple of the Vestal Virgins. That was over this neck of the woods as well. You have these arches. Now, you've seen these before. So we all know about the Arc de Triomphe on the Champs-Élysées in France. Well, they're a Roman thing. If there was to be a triumph in the city, well, then an archway would be built. The most famous of that in the Forum is called the Arch of Titus. And why he was so important was because there was an uprising in Jerusalem. You know, they went bananas. And they said, enough to Roman rule. So Titus said, hang on, I'm going to go over there now and sort that out. And he did. And he knocked 7 colours out of them. And, well, he came back to Rome and they had a big hoolie for him. And they built a big, massive arch. Now, you might say, Murph, what's this odd-looking building? This building right here. Why, this is the Senate House. This is the original Senate House of the Roman Republic. Isn't that absolutely fascinating? Absolutely. Oh yeah, that arch here isn't Titus. That's what was that one? I need to remember what that one is. I'll show you where Titus's one is. But this building here, this is the Senate. And you wonder what's the weird looking building here. Again, they're finding stuff, so they're still doing archaeological digs here. So there's a roof over that because they're finding so many things. All right. So we'll rumble down through the Forum. And it is beautiful. Like, this place to walk around, it is fascinating. And there's plenty of information, all the ruins of what the buildings looked like back in the day and all the different temples. You can see there the side of this aqueduct. This is part of an aqueduct. A lot of it collapsed. But in here, there was a church. A church was built into the side of the aqueduct. Absolutely incredible, right? Here's the arch of, here's the Arch of Titus, isn't it? It's that one or that one. Let me double check it. It's one or the other. So at the back of the Senate, as I said, this leads out then, and something really cool here. And again, they only found out, right? You can walk out here. They have walkways built since myself and Mrs. Teuton were there. And you walk out, right? And you actually go under the road. You go under the road and you come out over here. And then you can go on over to this part of the Forum. And over this side of the house, all over this neck of the woods in Rome, this was all the Jewish quarter. That was all over there. But at the back of the Senate House, and again, you can get very, very special permission to get in there because they have a couple of artifacts on display. Constantino. Come on, Andrea, that's the one. Andrea, which one is this one? We have a local Roman in our chat. We'll find out what this one here is. Like, it's just incredible stuff, lads. Absolutely incredible stuff. So, we continue on. Up here on said hill, there is a viewing point. One is Santimio Servo and the other one is Titus. Ah, gotcha. So there is a viewing point here. You can walk up and it's all paved and it's lovely. And you have an amazing view. I photographed them up here. I must put them up on Discord. Alright? But out the back here, we'll go back into the farm now in a minute, but out the back here, it's all lovely, beautiful gardens. Exquisite Roman gardens. Then you come up to this neck of the woods. And this area up here is famous because this in its heyday was once a palace. And apartments for Rome's highest and mighty, including the emperor. And you might say, that's an interesting place. Why is it built up so high? Well, you see, these guys had a bird's eye view of one of the greatest theatres in the world. And it is that of the Circus Maximus, the Great Circus, which is here. Chariot racing, gladiatorial battles, that all took place in the Circus Maximus. Which is truly remarkable. The three columns is the Temple of Castor and Pollux. Ah, nice. So that is the Circus Maximus, and you can walk down all along. And some of the ruins in here, they still have the original mosaic tiles. They're still there. To this day, they're still there. And you can walk around them and look at them and do all that kind of stuff. Ben-Hur was filmed there. Yeah, you can walk down on that. There's no fees to walk here. There's a little kind of a pathway. You can walk down and just walk around it. It's all free. Like, you just walk around the Circus Maximus. It's incredible. So, if you notice here, right, at the back of the forum, see the trackway? There's a walkway. Murphy's tip number 3, or 4, or 5, or wherever it's going to be, right? There is an entrance into the forum. 99.9% of the people enter the forum from this little walkway here. And you'll notice during the summertime, there will be tens of thousands of people trying to get in, right? Tens of thousands trying to get in. And you'll get up there and you'll see the queue and you'll say, for the love of God. Murph's tip is, pass by that, stay walking, and ramble up this way. Just ramble up the road here, say nothing to no one, say nothing, keep the head down, and just ramble up. There is another entrance right here, where the buses are, it's here, right? And there's a gate, and there's never a queue. And you just walk in, you pay your few quid, and that's it, you're in. And by the time you walk down here and then walk back up and around again, by the time you get all the way over to the Apatine and the Palatine and all of this, you'll get up to this side of the house and there'll be people in the queue saying, "Aye, how did you do that?" Well, you just skipped the queue because you went the quick way. And then you're into the forum itself. Isn't that super handy? Now, before we go to the main attraction, lads, I want to take you to one more place, right? And they are the baths of... Is it Calaqueta, I think. Actually, there's two things I want to show you. One is going to be the baths, the famous baths. So get your bearings now, Murph. We're doing well so far, lads. Over here, by the way, over here, this neck of the woods. Remember I told you that Nero built a palace? There's a documentary called Nero's Palace. I highly recommend you have a look at it, right? Have a look at Nero's palace. It's all underground now because they didn't really like him. They buried it. And the gas thing is, it was only rediscovered kind of around I think it was the 1500s, where like this pretty much inspired a lot of the Renaissance styles of painting. I kid you not. Because there was a bit of a hole in the ground and some fella said, "Oh, I wonder what's down here." And they found the original paintings. And you can imagine how good the paintings would have been in a palace. Do you know what I mean? The Caracalla. Yes, thank you, Andrea. Caracalla baths, right? So we'll go back over to where, Murph is doing a couple of laps around. And this building here, by the way, this is the United Nations Building of Agriculture and Food. There you go. So if you want to go into the UN and say, "I've invented a new food and I want you to call it this," that's what they are. Anyway, so just to get your bearings, here is the Circus Maximus. Turn left here and walk up this way. And one of the most incredible sights you'll ever see in Rome are the baths of Caracalla, built by the emperor. And these, okay, they look like they're in total ruin now, But this complex, once, like, you'd get 10,000 people in here a day in the Roman baths. And what's fascinating about this place, a large portion of the mosaics are still there. They're still visible. Do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely bananas. This entire complex once housed, libraries, shops, baths, temples. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look, there was a concert going on here. That's a recent addition. That's like a concert that they built. What a setting to have a concert. Look at that. The Baths of Caracalla. And like most of the attractions in Rome, you can buy these kind of special cards. You could pay $50, say, right? And you might say, I'm not paying $50 for this. But I'm telling you, you will have access to the metro, to buses, to every single site that there is in the city. Not only that, you'll have what's called the special access areas, whereby, if you visit the likes of, say, the Roman Forum, well, there's parts out the back towards the castles and the palaces and the apartments that the general 5'8", the peasants, they can't get anywhere near it. And what's fascinating as well is they've uncovered, I think it's here, they've uncovered buildings down here, which the archaeological findings are, this is where they believe was the first settlement going back to the time of Romulus. Isn't that amazing? Like, isn't that just absolutely mind-staggeringly, ouch, me head is sore from all the information that we've taken on? It's just there. Do you know what I mean? Now, last but not least, the star of tonight's show. The Colosseum. Known as Flavian's Theatre. It had a capacity of some 80,000 people. We have 15 facts about the Colosseum. Let's go. It is the largest ancient amphitheatre ever built, and it is still the largest standing amphitheatre in the world today, despite its age. It was first constructed under Emperor Vespasian in 69 AD, and was completed in 80 AD under his successor and heir, Titus. The Colosseum is built of Travertine limestone, tuff, or tufosi, which is the volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete. The Colosseum could hold an estimated 50,000 to 80,000 spectators at various points in its history, having an average audience of some 65,000 people. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles, including animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, dramas based on Roman mythology, and even mock sea battles. It is estimated that 60,000 to 100,000 people were employed in the construction of the Colosseum. The Colosseum was originally known as the Flavian Amphitheatre because it was built by Emperors Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian, successors of Nero of the Flavian dynasty. The name Colosseum likely comes from the colossal bronze statue of Emperor Nero that used to stand next to the building. This statue itself modelled on the Colossus of Rhodes. The Colosseum be built on top of what was once an artificial lake. The Colosseum is oval shaped. It's 189 metres long, 156 metres wide, and 48.5 metres tall. The entire building has a surface area of 6 acres. The Colosseum's outer walls are covered in 3 levels of Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns, and each level has 80 arches. Of these, 76 are numbered with Roman numerals still visible above just in some places. The Colosseum's hypogeum, which translates to underground. The underground was an elaborate network of tunnels and chambers where gladiators, animals, and indeed prisoners were kept before entering the arena. There were 80 vertical shafts to access the arena from underground, as well as the extensive network of trap doors through which scenery elements could be deployed during the spectacles. It is impossible to know with certainty, but it is believed that as many as 400,000 between gladiators, slaves, convicts, prisoners, and the myriad of other entertainers perished in the Colosseum over the 350 years or so in which human blood sports and spectacles were held here. The Colosseum has experienced large fires, at least 3 times throughout its history and suffered from at least 4 earthquakes. According to many historians, during 100-day celebration of the Colosseum opening, around 9,000 animals died here in the arena. Parts of the marble facade and other materials from the Colosseum were actually used in the construction of St. Peter's Basilica of the Vatican City. This provides a tangible link between ancient and contemporary Rome. The ancient Romans used a lot of marble to construct the Colosseum. It has been estimated they used around 100,000 cubic meters of marble, transported in 200 bullock carts to the building site. They also used 1.1 million tons of concrete, stone and brick. To build the Colosseum today, it would cost around 39 million euros, which is the equivalent of about $43 million. Isn't that absolutely crazy? So, inside here, keep the music going, that was nice. Where the lads have landed, they have reconstructed the Colosseum floor, yeah? In just one little area. But beneath it, out of the eyes of the spectators, was such an elaborate network of engineering. Lifts that could lift lions and tigers up onto the arena floor. Absolutely mad. It was said that the emperor would sit over here, various delegates from all different nationalities of the empire. The women, unfortunately, and the slaves, well, the peasants, I won't say slaves, but the women and the peasants were kept up here. But in fairness to them, it was safer and they actually had a better view. Now, the Colosseum in recent years is actually undergoing a bit of a revival. A special team have been contracted in to clean it back to its original white marble state. And they are achieving this using the latest scientific methods and chemical things to clean the walls. To see the Colosseum at night time is one of just a jaw-dropping moment. You can go there during the day and you pay your few quid in, but if you get one of them like massive travel pass thingies, but to see this place at night time, now you can't get in at night time, but you can view it. And the way it works is, of all the arches, they have lights in every single one of them. It looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Now, Murphy tip number 4. If you manage to ever get to Rome, well, you're going to have them lads, hello, my brother. It's great. Them lads, they're trying to sell you like ridiculous necklaces and, fancy hair. Just ignore them or just tell them outright. And you might feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Because they have coming over to me. Hey, big fella, you're my friend. I want to, I was like, how are you going? They're only trying to sell you something, right? So, in whatever, customs that you have and the countries that you have, well, you need to be kind of stern with them. And don't be afraid to tell them to, do you know what I mean? And they just won't bother you then. But, they're only trying to make a few quid. Like, it's nothing against them. But if you don't, you could be hassled by them. If you buy something off one of them, that's it. You're shagged for the whole night. They're going to be after you. Mr. Two-Tone deserves a new kitchen, just saying. So where me and Mr. Two-Tone stayed. Wait till you see this now, right? We stayed, our little hotel is right here. Right there, and there's little restaurants underneath. That's where we stayed. And you can stay, like, a night in Rome is as cheap as kind of, $50 a night. Even cheaper. And don't worry about, where do you go to eat. Anywhere that has outside, they've menus there, they've prices on the menus, you will find fantastic deals. Also, they have delis on every street corner, and sure, look, it's full of pizzas and pastas, and you can really do Rome on a budget, which is nuts. Myself and Mr. Two-Tone, we spent 3 nights, 3 nights there, and between flights, accommodation, and spending money, less than $500. Is there a plaque for the fat guy? Glutonius Maximus. Glutonius Maximus. Did we have an ensuite? We did have an ensuite. We did. I I said there was a comment there saying someone said Rome also has a pyramid. It does. It absolutely does. And the fascinating thing about Rome, right, apart from all the sites, before you even got into Rome, you had the Appian Way, which was like the main road going in, right? Before you even got to Rome, you got to meet the Romans because all the crypts and tombs and all this kind of stuff, well, they're all outside the city. They're all buried outside of the city, which is remarkable. But some of the tombs that they have are massive, and they line the Appian Way, or the Appian Way, which again is absolutely cool. So I'm actually looking for something here. I'm trying to remember, is it on the north side? The north side of Rome. It's up this way, I think. Hang on, we'll just ramble up here now for a second, and then we'll fly over the place, and then we're going to land. But I want to show you something kind of cool and remarkable. Here it is. Rome has an actual pyramid, which is by the city gates. See here? That's one of the original city gates of Rome. Isn't that incredible? And over here, there is an actual pyramid. An actual pyramid. It's a temple or a tomb of someone. And notice the way it's built outside of the city. The Romans were mad on that. Like a lot of the Christians were buried in crypts, also known now as the catacombs. But they wouldn't be in public sight. They were buried beneath the city, and in particular, all of the catacombs are located outside of the ancient city walls. The Romans were mad for that. The Pyramid of Cestius, stem. Like some of the Roman names are brilliant, you know. I am Glutonius Magnimus, or, you know, Teutonius Murphius Magnius Toxolotius. Do you know what I mean? You can have great fun with that. But thus concludes this. I won't say quick. It wasn't terribly quick. I probably bored you all to death. But this is Rome. And it is my favourite city. I absolutely adore it. I've been here a couple of times, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait to get back here. When the world is back to normal, I would be more than happy to do some sort of a meetup over here, and we go exploring the place. Because it's just a remarkable city. It's a beautiful city. It's safe, it's secure, do you know what I mean? I love it. And the Italians, in particular the Romans, they're a great bunch of lads. They're all very nice, they're all very welcoming. It's a very busy city, but they take a lot of pride because people have such an interest in their history and their ancestry. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely stunning. So, I left you in this position. Huzzah, it worked! Right, continue flying, as was our wont. Buttons, Murph, buttons. There we go. How'd you... Oh yeah. There we go, now we're sucking diesel. So we'll fly around for a minute, and then we're going to head out by one of the aqueducts. It is the Aqua Claudia, an ancient Roman aqueduct that, like the Aqua Anio Novus, the building was begun by Emperor Caligula. Now, Caligula was a mad devil. We'll talk about him some other day. It was finished in the year 41 AD by Emperor Claudius. The total length is approximately, wait to hear this, 69 kilometres. That's 43 miles. Most of which was underground. The flow was around 190,000 cubic metres in 24 hours. It was estimated Rome used 100 million litres of water a day. Nero extended the aqueduct with the Arcus Neronii, I think it is, to the Caelian Hill, and Domitian further extended it to the Palatine, after which the Aqua Claudia could provide all 14 Roman districts with water. And we're going to follow this all the way out to our airport in which we're going to land. And our final airport is, don't hit the ground, Murph, that'll be a terrible thing to do. Could you imagine the price of trying to fix it? We're heading out to Rome Ciampino Airport, which is Lima, India, Romeo, Echo. Now we're finished with the autopilot. We'll hand fly this until we get to where we need to get. So what I want to do, right, as we fly along here, beautiful photogrammetry. This here is called the Tremi. Is it the Tremi station? That's like the major train station, just over there. So we're going to follow the railway, which is here. What did I say? Lima, India, Romeo, Alpha. So by following the railway, we will very soon start catching Hang on, Murph. Other way. Other way! Follow the railway and we'll eventually... It'll branch out here to the right and then we'll pick up one of the aqueducts. There's the railway still there. Yes, yes, yes. What a city just to go exploring in the sim. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this all works out now tomorrow once we get the new update. Do you know what I mean? It'll be interesting. So follow along this way. Yes, yes, yes. Can you guys see where the aqueduct is? Can you see it? It should be right in front of us. Say seen when you see it. Seen! There it is. The aqueduct. So we're going to follow this way in. Yeah, I got everything kind of pre-cached. That's it's loading in a little bit quicker. So the aqueduct is just there on our right-hand side. Follow the railway tracks. 42 beers plus a Murph. Like, isn't it amazing how quick you leave a massive city like Rome and within a few minutes you're in the countryside? It's amazing. So follow on the aqueduct. Now wait to hear this. This airport that we're flying to, it is the secondary international airport of Rome. The other main airport is Rome Fiumicino, which is the Leonardo da Vinci airport. Campino, it's an important hub for many low-cost carriers, in particular Ryanair, but it's also big for general aviation. It also hosts a military airport, and it is the headquarters of the 31st Stormo and 2nd Reparto Gineo of the Italian Air Force. The airport is named after Giovanni Battista Pastin, an Italian airship pilot who served in World War I. Right? Wait, there's more history here, lads. Wait till you hear this. Right? He served in World War I. Campino Airport was opened in 1916 and is one of the oldest airports still in operation. From here, on the 10th of April 1926, Umberto Nobile took off on the airship Norge, the first aircraft ever to reach the North Pole and fly across the polar ice cap from Europe to America. In October 1930, the first ever helicopter prototype designed by Corradino D'Ascanio, or hang on, try that again, Murph. D'Ascanio was tested at Campino Airport, reaching a record altitude of 18 meters, and it flew for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. The very first helicopter. Isn't it appropriate that we are in choppers? Do you know what I mean? You swear I planned this. During the Second World War, the airport was captured by Allied forces in June 1944 and afterwards became a United States Air Force military airfield. It was Rome's main airport until around 1960. Isn't that amazing? Now, the airport that I'm using, it is that of Demio S. It's actually available in the InSim marketplace. So I'm anxious to show you, because I'm sure you probably saw it and you were like, well, is it actually any good? Do you know what I mean? Keane Lafford wants to know, do you think the International Space Station has good Wi-Fi? I don't know, Keane. Your guess is as good as mine. So I kind of drifted away from the old aqueduct as I was reading, but we're very close. So you have all these old race tracks, and again, there's like, you talk about, there's the aqueduct there, but we've left kind of photogrammetry. The aqueduct goes over there to the left-hand side, and it goes all the way up into those mountains over there. All the way up to the mountains. And when you hear this, right, that aqueduct we spoke about, the difference in, oh, we're after freezing up. The distance of height of that aqueduct over its 60 miles, or whatever it is, the elevation, or the altitude of the aqueduct, or the water, changes just 6 meters Like, you talk about Roman engineering, 6 meters from start to finish. The incline is just 6 meters over something like 60 miles. What? It's absolutely banana stuff, lads. The airport has been slated on the forums. Yeah, you'll see now, like, look it. It's not terrible, but like, he's looking for a mad price. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll show you. We'll have a look. We'll have a gawk. Oh, we'll do this one. Oh no, we won't. We'll do this one. Wait now, wait for it. Oh yeah. So, welcome to the airport. Like, there are plenty of buildings. I just think a bit more work could have went into them, do you know? To think one of the very first helicopter flights was at this very airport. And here we are, the Fireflies, visiting for the first time in the sim in choppers. That's pretty cool, isn't it? "90 years later, people will be flying simulators of helicopters at this airport." It's mind-blowing. So, face cam on for a dramatic effect, as we're going to try and land. Now, here's one for you, right? If you fly into Campino Airport, the Murph tip number 5, I think we're up to now. Use public transport. Don't get taxis. Forget about them. Don't get buses or any of that messing. You can get a ticket in the airport, which I think is €2, €2 each way per person, and that gets you a little bus from the airport. You're dropped across the way to the train station. You get the train down to the Tremini train station, then you get on the subway or metro, and you arrive at the Colosseum for €2. That's like $3.50. $3.50. It's for nothing. And you know, you're there. It takes about 20 minutes. They called it. What was it called? The Red Travel something. Just like, we were like, what? How much? So we'll bring this one in here for a landing, man. And we'll be down. You must travel light. You haven't seen my wife pack. Mr. Two-Tone, responsible for all the research. I bet your notes for the stream are huge. There are no Ubers in Italy, or in Rome. Which I thought was strange, but you know what I mean? The Italians were like, no, cut it out. Uber aren't allowed to operate. At least when I was there, they weren't allowed to operate. Which is kind of weird and sad. So, we'll turn on the nameplates just to see everyone landing in. Like, my own knowledge of Rome has been enriched by all the studying that Mr. Two-Tone does. Do you know what I mean? Like, she spends so much time researching things for me. And like, she'll just come to me someday and say, hey Murph, wait to hear this one. And she'll rattle off an amazing fact or something. I'd be blown away by it. Rome is Uberless. I'm telling you. You might think I'm mad, but I'm telling you. There's so many people here. This is ridiculous. Right, get some music on for some landings. You know, if there's anyone left to land, call the NTSB. Uh-oh. That's an appropriate name. There's Muse Fan in a chopper. How are you liking it? They're some fun, aren't they? There's Franco in a chopper. There's Pat, we can see Kozaki Flyer. There's Coco. There's a Jepson over there. Twisted Rotors flying around. Dougal McTavish is inbound. There's Whack-A-Mo. Nicely done. We have a Cy Murray parked up. There's Dougal. And Dougal. Followed by Big Papa Polly. We have Colonel Fork inbound. Followed by Squawk Torque. The approach looks good. Soaring AJ coming in hot. Beautiful approach, Colonel Fork. Ah, butter, man, butter. The man just put Roman butter all over the shop. A lot of practice is needed. Give it a shot. That's what it's all about. Jepson in the Stearman. Looks absolutely amazing, that Stearman. Hey, Jay Winniger's here. Good to see you, dude. Just the right amount of butter on that landing. Yes. There's Pat, Rogers and Soaring AJ. Nicely done, my dudes. Nicely done. There's Moving Pigeon. And the Pigeon. There's Jared Vark. And so, friends, there we have it. Get the camera right, Murph, and it'll just look nice. Hang on. Look at the state of that, sports fans. So, that's it for another stream, another wonder of the world. Thanks very much for listening to me waffle on for the night. Murphy, does he ever stop talking? Clearly not tonight. I love Rome. What can I say? Roman history, man. For the win. Anyway, many thanks to Andrea in the chat this evening for all the help and support, my dude. Many thanks. My thanks as always to everyone here in the chat, to all our Fireflies, our Thunderflies, our illustrious team of moderators and community managers, and a special shout out to Gibbo Ireland. Many thanks for updating the bot and making it work, my dude. Tomorrow, exciting times. We are having the Xbox release and also Sim update number 5. It's going to happen. I'm planning to do many streams for considerable amounts of time all this week. So I hope to do a little bit tomorrow evening. We will be checking out Colonel Fork after, and then I'll probably do kind of like all day on Wednesday. You know, why not? So, my thanks as always, guys. Thank you all so very, very much. We will put some information up over on the Discord. If you guys have any interest in any Roman history, I'm telling you, it will consume your time, but it's amazing. So, until the next time, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.